Hey now! And the first sound heard on the broadcast is Sarah belching. You just had to make, like, it always happens every single time. I'm like, all right, I'm about to go live. And somebody, says something or makes some kind of silly noise, right? Right when we're, right as soon as I hit the button. Okay, we are live. Oh, I don't have any music playing. Now, the good news today is that we are not beholden to any specific end time because they canceled the Cartoon Club for tonight.
Oh.
So
Okay.
they're not doing anime night. So not that I want to go very long, but we don't have to like rush to end at, 8:45.
Okay.
Sweet, we're gonna go long. Birthday stream!
That's right, it is your birthday today, is it not?
I
I don't know why. Lately, Facebook has been very
Oh, yeah,
lax
happy
about
birthday.
telling me about these things. I'll get it at like 1:45. It'll be like Jesse's birthday. It's happened with two people in the last week where like their birthday alert comes through really, really late in the day.
And then 2 minutes to midnight starts playing, like...
2 minutes to
Midnight.
midnight. So how many trips around the sun has this been?
41. Ew.
Hey, look, I hit 42 a couple of months ago. So, well, more than a couple of months ago now. But,
It's the answer to life, the universe, and everything.
yeah, 27.
It really is.
That's a Weird Al thing, isn't it?
What, the 27 thing?
Yeah,
No,
isn't he like nuts for 27 or something?
No, that was the Simpsons where it was this episode where Lisa was pretending to be a boy so that she could be in the advanced math class because they split it up between boys and girls. And the girls were not learning math. They were just like, how do numbers make you feel? And Lisa's,
God.
And Lisa, she's a feminist, and she's like, this is bull crap. I want to actually learn. So she dresses up like a boy. She calls herself Jake Boyman.
Perfect.
Right? And like Bart, like it was kind of like that movie, One of the Guys, except she doesn't flash anybody at the end, thankfully. But
I don't think I've ever seen that.
yeah, it was a similar plot to what I'm telling you, but the girl pretends to be a dude. But anyway,
He's the man.
A little funnier than that. But
Yeah.
anyway, there was this thing where where she's contemplating what to do, and these like math symbols and numbers start appearing like as little cartoons that she's imagining and telling her things, and they're all like doing math puns, like you are greater than or equal to any boy, like that. And then the number 27 shows up and just goes 27. It's one of my favorite gags on The Simpsons.
It just says 27. That's it.
Yeah, and then it just disappears
That's it.
because it's all these like times and equals and like all these symbols appear and they're making puns based on what they are, and then the number 27 appears and just goes 27 and then disappears.
Is it a prime number or something? I don't.
It's not a prime number, but it's divisible
That is
by
pretty
3 and 9. No, it's
Oh,
just
yeah, it is.
I think it just sounds funny. Hold on, I will find the scene.
That
And
does sound funny.
I will put it in the images and words so that y'all can
Oh,
see
yeah.
it. I'm just going to type this in, Simpsons 27, and I guarantee it's going to come right up. Here it is. Here it is. I told you it would come right up. I'm going to put that, it's in the images and words thing,
Okay.
so y'all can see that.
Yeah.
Oh, I never posted that I'm live. Damn it. What am I even doing here?
I'm slipping at my old age.
I know, right? I swear I'm good at this. I'm like wondering why people aren't coming in, and it's because I never told anyone that we're live. And because I copied that Simpsons thing, I got to go back to the video that I made to copy the live alert. All right, here we are. Let me just post that pretty much everywhere.
27.
27. Yeah.
27.
You guys have really never seen that episode?
No, I haven't.
I don't think I have.
It's a
No.
really good
The Simpsons
one.
has 1 billion episodes, and
Yeah,
I've only seen 1 million.
Yeah, but that's true. There are more than you would think. There was this comic strip on the internet. Hey, Alice, 27.
27.
I'll make sure that you guys have the chat up too.
Yep.
There was this comic strip on the internet called "Manly Guys Doing Manly Things," And
I've heard of it.
Yeah, I think I was the one who told you about it. And the main character, it's mostly like characters from different like video games and stuff that are like really ridiculously macho, right? And they work in a temp agency. And the main character though is an original character for the strip. He's called like something like Captain Badass or something, and he's from the future. And the kid that's like his sidekick is, you're from the future, right? When does this? Oh, Sarah, thank you for subscribing for 24. Oh, I'm sorry, for 32 months. Yeah.
Hey now.
Hey now. Emote party in the chat. Post them. So
32x.
Yes, $4. 32x. Why not? What the hell was I saying? Something about oh yeah. When does The Simpsons end? And he says, I'll tell you when it ends. I'll let you know. Like it still hasn't, in the future, in the year 3000 or whatever it was he was from.
Fox will not let it die.
Well, I've had a thought about The Simpsons specifically that, to somebody like you or me or any of us in the chat, really, it's a really old show. It's been around for a long time, right?
1989, the 80s.
Yeah. I mean, and a little bit earlier than that with the Tracy Ullman show, right?
Yeah.
So, but we remember when it started. Like, I remember the first few episodes and where it kind of exploded and was like way more popular than it needed to be for a little while, and then there was the inevitable backlash, and just like I remember everything about like season 1 and the way it all began. But to think that, like, that was in 1989, so there are people who were born in, like, the mid-90s, the late 90s. There are people born in 2000 that are full adults right now. They're 23 years old. To them, The Simpsons must be eternal.
Mm-hmm.
It has always been.
It's a show that was already considered long-running when they were born, before they could even comprehend television. You know? And so like there's going to be a point where it will end, right? And, like somebody in the cast is going to eventually call it quits. That can't be easily replaced. You know what I mean?
Whether
Like,
they want to or not.
Yeah. Any of the primary characters that play like the main Simpsons family, like if any of them leave, you're not really going to find an easy replacement. It's time to end it at that point. If it's, Castaneda or Kavner or Yardley Smith or Nancy Cartwright. But what's wild about it is it'll end and it'll be like, wow, it finally ended for me. But then for somebody who's in their, like early 30s, it's going to be like this devastating thing that this important part of culture has vanished, like this thing that's always been there, because they don't remember a time before The Simpsons.
Yeah, like they could have been watching it as a baby, just passively.
Yeah, they could have dates like that, BS and AS, before and after Simpsons. You know what I mean? So, how's it going, everybody? Welcome in, Sarah. 3 months in a row we've been trying to get you. We finally nailed you down. Sarah?
Hello?
If you're talking, we're not hearing.
Uh-oh.
Did we lose Sarah somehow?
I think she went to go watch the rest of The Simpsons.
Well, she'll never be back now.
No.
Sarah, no, wait, I heard a noise. Oh, she's fiddling with the... I just saw her mute and then unmute. Whoa. You're lighting up... Okay, I thought I heard you say something.
Hello?
There you are. Okay, I don't know what happened there, but we weren't hearing you for a little while.
She lives.
Weird.
Yeah.
My mic's been plugged in this whole time. I don't know.
Well, you're fine now, but we were just saying that, 3 months that we've been trying to get you on the show. We finally got you. Third time the charm. You had to put in for the day off like a month in advance, but
Yeah.
It's
been a little busy, but works good. But
it do be like that sometimes.
Hey, it's not Rite Aid anymore, so that's something.
More like wrong aid, am I right?
Oh, you stole my joke.
Exactly. 27.
27.
Oh wait, I didn't post on Meta and X.
27.
27.
Oh, God.
X.
It's so
That's
silly.
so fucking
I
stupid.
guarantee you 100% he's doing this to avoid paying somebody something.
Yeah,
Just
pretty
just
much.
just tank the
That's-
thing, you know.
That's Twitter's build. We're not Twitter anymore. We're X.
Barf.
Yeah.
But he's a genius.
Well, because I was saying to Ross the other day that that he's trying to be Mark Zuckerberg so badly, and I think it's because his attempt to be Tony Stark failed.
He was never going to be Tony Stark.
But he thought he would be. And there was a group of people who really thought this is the guy, this is the real life Tony Stark. And they forget that Tony Stark was kind of a shitheel and that he had an arc of growth, and then it's kind of not going in that direction with Mr.
Oh, he had an arc,
Yeah.
all right.
Arc
reactor.
reactor,
That.
But
Hey, Riddle. Yeah, it's the social media counterpart for X videos.
Or SpaceX. Like, there's something going on here.
No, because you're missing the joke, because he wants X to be an all-in-one app that'll do everything, right? So is the video component going to be called X videos? Like, think about that for a second. You've been to that website? Come on, don't lie.
Oh, I thought X video was a format.
No, that it's a format for porn.
like
Yes.
like x.xvid or something like that.
No.
I mean, if it's not, it probably will be.
Probably, yeah. They have video. They have. It's like they try to get ahead of us, like with sharing images. Like, remember when everything was either JPEG or GIF, and then all of a sudden the PNG format comes out, and somebody didn't send you a file, and you're like, "What the hell is this? I can't open this," Or what is this and now PNG is like completely normal. Everybody has it, and everybody could use it. And then they came out with the WebP. And that was a big pain in the butt, and now it's not so much a pain in the butt. And now they have, like, AVIF, which is literally, like, a video format that just shows an image.
Oh, well, that's kind of weird.
Do I look like I know what a JPEG is? I just want a god-dang picture of a god-dang hot dog.
You go to pictureofahotdog.com.
Almost took a swing at him.
Ugh. All right, guys, let's get started, huh? Hey
Alright.
now, we're not gonna play the intro because we're not playing video games. We're gonna come over here. I'm gonna fade out the music, and welcome to the List Critics Remastered. With me, as always, is Jesse.
Let's fade in the funny, am I right?
And we also have our special guest host for the month, which is Sarah.
Very special.
Extremely special.
Super
Welcome
special.
On a very special Sarah.
Welcome to a very special episode of List Critics Remastered. It'd be like, tonight on a very special List Critics Remastered, and then it cuts to Jesse going, "I can't read."
I'm done.
And they're like, "Jesse, you read all the time." "I can't read."
No, I just can't physically read
No,
this.
well, I was making it. Once again, it goes back to The Simpsons, because they had a Neil Gaiman on once, and there was this big reveal that he was illiterate, and they're like, "Well, how could you write books if you're illiterate?" And he just goes, "I just start typing a word and hit space when it looks long enough."
Oh my god.
And somehow he's written like dozens of brilliant novels.
Yeah.
All right.
Hey, I
well.
mean, it's working for him.
Okay, well, we are going to start as we normally do with, Tumblr Gets Deep as soon as I find it, or whatever the heck they're calling it now. I mean, look.
I'm still gonna keep getting deep as long as we need to.
Deep on these nuts. It is 30 funniest and or most interesting posts Tumblr had to offer us this week. See, the world is topsy-turvy. This isn't Tumblr Gets Deep. Twitter isn't Twitter. It's just... beer is apparently not made from plants.
What?
According to
What?
Oh, you didn't see the thing in the some Fox News guy was going on about how the liberals are going to make you have plant-based beer,
Oh, for fuck's sake.
and I'm like,
hops?
so beer?
Yeah, beer flavored beer.
Like, what is he, a Bosmer where he drinks meat beer?
Does he think they make it from pigs? What the fuck?
He's an elf. He's a wood elf from the Elder Scrolls. They have meat beer.
Hey, I've seen them drink meat on Ren and Stimpy once.
Meat!
Yeah, the meat guy.
Thirsty! Need drink! That's what you like to drink, Kowalski? Meat! Pour him a glass of meat, will you, Stimpy?
Exactly.
One of my favorite episodes. All right.
Same.
Okay, so this starts with a picture. This person said, the name is cut off. It says, just whipped up a gourmet, as in Gore and then MAY, a gourmet dinner, osteoporosis. And then the OK sign and the winking smiley. And it's literally just a slice of white bread with a slice of yellow cheese on it. And that's their... I don't know why it says osteoporosis. But anyway, Rauch Torrent says this Bon Appetit meme has turned into some sort of bizarre telephone game where each incarnation sounds more and more different than the original. In what way does Bon Appetit sound like osteoporosis? And then Lady... Bone aped it. And then Lady Dainty says, I don't know, but it's cracking me up every time I even think about it. Bone apple tea.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. The Reddit.
Well, that's what it is. But then I don't know where it gets osteoporosis from.
Yeah. Give me a tit for 800.
Maybe they toked it. Bony apple tits. There you go. All right, number 2, Knight's Sisters Marin says, the assassin you sent after me is part of my found family now. And then Aiko posts the relevant screenshot from Shrek with the cat. And then Frog Whisperer posts the relevant screenshot from Ice Age with the cat. And then the Trash Chronicles post the relevant screenshot from Lilo and Stitch. No cats in that one. And then Among Us Fungus posts the relevant screenshot from Avatar. So basically they're just bringing out like this trope about somebody trying to kill you and now they're part of your found family. And hello, EB.
Aw.
I mean, it even happened in Dragon Age Origins with that like Brazilian-sounding elf, Zevram.
Oh my God, it's been ages since I've thought about Dragon Age.
I thought you were going to say that it's been ages since you've thought about Zevram.
I mean, it has, technically.
Yeah. Number 3, Tallahassee MP3 says, say what you want about Reddit, but the fact is it lets you sort by controversial so you can see people fighting each other. It's a perfect feature. It really is, too. But I still don't understand exactly how it decides which posts are controversial, but I think Ross had the idea that maybe it's when the like and dislike ratio is close to 50-50.
There's some kind of secret hidden algorithm.
Yeah, they don't talk about it, though. All right, number 4 starts with a screenshot from... a bunch of screenshots from Twitter. Where Sarah Squirm says, checked into a hotel last night and the woman working the front desk asked, no offense, but are you a clown? No offense. To be fair, I was literally wearing this, and I can only just show you guys because it's that ridiculous. But, I mean, if you saw somebody asking that, you might assume that they are a clown. Let me know when you've seen it so I can take it off.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, it fits.
You might think that that's a person who works as a clown that just doesn't have their makeup on. No offense, but are you a clown? So Capacity says, okay, well... And then Among Us says, okay, that lady's question was justified. Uncle Mojave says, I'm not seeing a no. And FWPP says, move the phone. Show us the nose.
Oh, yes.
There's a big red nose behind that phone. I bet you anything. All right, number 5. Plague Doc Boy says, we need to go back to using sailing ships full time, like immediately. Yes, it would take longer to get places, but the aesthetic is unmatched. A couple of pictures of some very majestic looking sailboats. Like there is nothing sexier than this. And then the Bobo Show says, can't wait for OP to get scurvy. And then Plague Dr. Boy says, are you under the impression that the ships themselves are what cause scurvy? And then Plague Doc Boy Plague Doc Boy shows a screenshot of a whisper that somebody sent them that says, weren't these ships used for colonizing India and the slave trade? And then it says, once again, do you think that it's the fault of the ships themselves?
They know better.
I know. And then Nuance Exists says, hashtag Tumblr users will try to make any ship problematic. Anyway, guys, it's been a great stream. So All right, Lesbian Shepherd says the funniest the funniest H.P. Lovecraft story is the one where some guy's family offended an evil wizard, who then cursed his entire family, saying that all the men would die before they hit 30. The protagonist is going crazy trying to find a spell to break the curse, and then the big reveal was that the wizard was literally just breaking into their house and killing them himself. Well, if you want something done, you got to do it yourself, right?
Yeah, if you wanted to have it done right.
Mana points are expensive. You got to save it. Just use a baseball bat. Number 7, Soon Flower says, posts a picture of, well, it's a painting of what appears to be Joseph and Mary, and then or something, the baby Jesus, who's eating a giant donut, and there's a dinosaur, and the dinosaur is like one of those spiky boys, and all of the dinosaurs have donuts or maybe they're bagels or something on them. And it says, crying because I'll never be able to buy giant bagels off a Kentrosaurus. You need to see it, Alice? I'll show it. Hold on.
Yeah, I don't understand this.
I need a visual aid.
What is to understand? Bagelsaurus Rex. There it is.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I don't know the dynamic there, but, you know.
Is this one of those just because kind of posts or something?
Why not? Tumblr gets deep. Somebody was high. All right, number 8.
That ain't that
Working
deep,
on it.
dude.
It's about as deep as those spikes go in that donut hole or
Ayo.
bagel or whatever the hell, right? So the first person's name is cut off here, number 8. It says, cell phone doesn't like water. I've seen this one. Cell phone doesn't like water because it is a combination of the other 3 elements. It is a rock, earth, that we fill with lightning, fire, that we can control radio waves, air. If it contained water too, it would be too perfect. It would be like a god. To prevent this, the universe kills this would-be uniter of the elements. It's basic science. Then Huron Bruce says, hey, OP, Google what LCD stands for. Of course, it's liquid crystal display. And then Alive Mall says, I took an oath in 3rd grade never to do drugs. And then the Wandering Ace says, I feel compelled to share one of my favorite bits from The Martian, the book The Martian, and here is the relevant quote. Each crewman had their own laptop, so I have 6 at my disposal. Rather, I had 6. I now have 5. I thought a laptop would be fine outside. It's just electronics, right? It'll keep warm enough to operate in the short term, and it doesn't need air for anything. It died instantly. The screen went black before I was out of the airlock. Turns out the L in LCD stands for liquid. I guess it either froze or boiled off. Maybe I'll post a consumer review. Bought product surface of Mars. It stopped working. 0 out of 10. Martian's such a hilarious book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, number 9, The Real Numbers. I've seen this. So they post a bunch of. There's these videos that are going around. I've seen them on Facebook and YouTube, but I think they originated from TikTok. And I'm going to give you the caption titles of each of these. My Italian husband gets a pickle with his food for the first time. Putting salt in my Italian husband's espresso. Putting ice in my Italian husband's espresso. Washing my Italian husband's mocha with soap. Bringing my Italian husband to Olive Garden, and telling my Italian husband his food is disgusting. So the real number says, someone free this man.
Oh, good lord.
And then the situation says, Italian man equivalent of those dog owners who intentionally agitate their chihuahuas for views. The funny thing is, I've seen the videos, and he seems like such a nice guy, and she just tortures him. The first one that I ever saw was she was breaking the spaghetti in half in front of him. You know, you could tell that if he wasn't such a gentleman, he would have drop kicked her out the window. You know? Hey, Moogle.
Like, was he like grating his teeth and?
No, he like leapt over it. He's like, "Why you do that, my love? Why are you breaking it in half? Why do I have to eat the pasta? It's so short. It's like shit." and she goes, "But it wouldn't fit in the pot." I fit you in the pot. Of course, it fits in the pot.
Oh my god!
All right. Number 10, Mexicanime. Oh, it's Mexicanine. Says, oh my god, I found this video on YouTube called Elk Hunting Chihuahua. I've actually seen this one as well. And the guy is like, make sure you have a good hunting dog, and just opens his backpack to reveal his little chihuahua named Coco and tells us how amazing she is at hunting. Then he just whips her out and says, you gotta have one of these things. They can track, and they're just the best hunting dogs in the world. And that was the whole video. And honestly, I've never wanted a chihuahua more in my life.
Oh.
Not willing to back it up with any actual video footage.
Well, they did post like thumbnails and stuff, and then Tangerang says, "I'm crying. He's holding her like an orange." Well, how else can you hold a Chihuahua, right? I question this guy's authenticity, not as a dog owner, but as a hunter, because he's supposedly hunting, but he's wearing camo. That's a great way to get shot by other hunters, isn't it?
Yeah, blend into everything where you easily get shot.
There's a reason they wear bright yellow and bright orange, you know?
And even if they see movement that just isn't orange, they're gonna shoot it.
Yeah, you weren't wearing an orange vest, I can legally kill you. All right, number 11, Snappy Doodle says, bread is basically just flour plus yeast plus liquid, right? Gatorade bread.
And salt.
And then, well, there's salt in Gatorade, right?
Oh, yeah.
So then they post a picture of them making Gatorade. Like, they make the dough. It's pink because they use the red Gatorade, and they formed it into a bun. And they baked it. And it says, you ever have one of those what am I doing with my life moments? And they show a picture of it. The finished bread roll. It's pink, but it's there. And they say, I was a fool. I thought this would be a bad idea. This is the best goddamn bread I've ever made. It's fluffy, it's chewy, it's got a perfectly crisp crust. The only flavor it has is vaguely sweet. I've already eaten the whole loaf.
Damn.
Good grief.
And then
on its whole loaf of bread?
Well, it was just like 2 rolls that they made, really. But Ant Cat posts, hashtag, I'm going to try this as soon as I can. Hashtag food TW. I don't know what TW is. Hashtag swearing. Maybe. Caps and eating. All right, whatever. Number 11, Hobo RG says, computer nerds have been kvetching about how there's only 17,576 three-letter acronyms to go around since the 1960s. And then Lyric Writes Prose says, I had cognitive behavioral I know where this is going. I had cognitive behavioral therapy last year, and every time my therapist used the acronym, I could feel my soul leave my body and descend into hell. And then Giraffeter says, I have a friend who does computer numerical control machining, and every so often he'll have a question and begin to tweet like, for my friends who were into CNC, and every time my skeleton leaves my body and flies around the room.
What the hell?
Well, you know what CBT is, right?
Cognitive behavioral therapy?
No, the other CBT. It's cock and ball torture.
Oh!
Yeah.
They're a bit different.
Leave that at home. Wait, no, don't.
Well, home is where it should happen, I guess. You don't want it to happen like on the bus or in the...
Home is where the cock is.
In the McDonald's or something. It's not good. And CNC
Sure, this is a Wendy's.
CNC is a form of role-playing called consensual, non-consensual.
It's also a music factory?
Well, that's with an ampersand, but yeah.
Oh.
You know, it's where the wife is like, oh, no, Mr. Robber, don't ravish me, and, you know...
Don't ravish me with your muscly arms.
Yeah, like that. All right. Number 13, how to save money by eliminating all sources of joy from your life. And then a link. And then Appas95 says, the less you eat, drink, buy books, go to the theater, or to balls, or to the pub, and the less you think, love, theorize, sing, paint, fence, etc., the more you will be able to save, and the greater will become your treasure, which neither moth nor rust will corrupt. Your capital. The less you are, the less you express your life, the more you have. The greater is your alienated life, and the greater is the saving of your alienated being, which is a quote from Karl Marx.
Oh, I thought it was going to be like a Calvin Klein ad or something.
No, KM, not KC. All right. Number 14, John Bernthal, I don't know if this is the actual John Bernthal, says, I just found out Merriam-Webster has a time traveler feature that tells you some of the words that were born the same year as you. It's pretty neat. Y'all should do this. Bob Evader says, I was born with vape, and I will die with vape. Twenley One Pilot says, I was born with judgy. And Fandom Sen Fanomenism says, 3D printer, cybersex, and heteronormative. Ha. And then Animated American says, my favorites, Brown Dwarf, Superstring, Intertextuality, Domestic Partner, and the now obsolete Electronic Mail. Nice.
Intertextuality, I like that.
Intertextual, that's a good word. All right, number 15, wow, this is blurry. Octopus Caveman says, my son put some tricks in his ant farm. Instead of eating them, the ants dug up all the dead ants in the farm and piled them on top of the tricks. Not sure what that means, but I'm not eating tricks anymore. I know what it means. It means it has that there's like this acid that ants exude when they die, and it's sort of citrusy, and so they think that that's where the dead ant pile goes. It's, and I believe that, here it's explained in this next post. The unnecessary commentary says, fun fact, it is because Trix contains oleic acid, which is naturally occurring chemical in sunflower and canola oil. Oleic acid is also released by ants when they die. It is the dead ant smell, basically. So they smell dead ant on the Trix and go, oh, dead ant pile, and then pile their dead on the Trix. Fun fact, they will also treat live ants like dead ones if they smell like oleic acid. The live ant will furiously clean itself and leave the graveyard and keep getting dragged back until they eventually get rid of the smell. It's incredibly funny, actually. I'm alive, guys. Stop carrying me to the corpse pile, please. Sorry, buddy, but you smell a little too much like death to be believed.
I'm not quite dead.
Yeah, it's like that Monty Python thing, right? Well, here, this will help you along your way. And he just, bonks him on his head. All right, number 16, homunculus argument says, generally people who are scared of farm animals are scared because they're not familiar with them, don't know how to properly handle them, and don't know what they are like. Except for pigs. People who aren't scared of pigs aren't generally familiar with pigs. He's only mostly dead. Like, I'm not kidding, a full-grown adult domestic pig is a 2-in-1 murder and corpse disposal service the size of a small pony. Wild boars aren't dangerous because they're wild. They're dangerous because they're pigs.
Yeah, I've seen the movie Snatch.
I thought you were going to say Hannibal for a second.
No.
Yeah, because that was Mason Verger's plan for Hannibal, to feed him to wild boars.
Damn.
Didn't work out. He got fed to wild boars.
Oh.
It was slightly. Oh no, it was slightly different in the movie, but it was basically the same scene where Hannibal says to the guy's assistant, because Mason Verger's in a wheelchair, he's pretty helpless, and he says, "Hey, why don't you throw him in? You could always say I did it."
Ah.
And then he does it.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I have not seen that show. Dang.
No, it was the movie Hannibal, or
The movie?
based on.
Oh my God, it was forever since I've seen the Hannibal the movie.
Yeah.
I don't think I've seen that one yet.
It was really good. The book was way better, but the movie was pretty good. Number 10, Lizard Sister says, fruit fly diving straight towards the glass of apple cider vinegar mixed with dish soap already littered with the corpses of his kin, and posts a picture of from the Black Adam movie of him diving directly downwards towards the camera.
Oh my God.
I actually enjoyed the Black Adam film. I didn't mind it. A lot of people were saying it was bad, but it was fun. Number 18, Whoops Robot says, my favorite high school thing ever was in our English lit class reading of Hamlet, and we all had to play different characters, and partway through, I remember this one, I've seen this, partway through, everyone started reading it like a porno with breathy moaning voices and the dude playing the queen. Wait, listen to this. The dude playing the queen spoke in a drunken Alabama accent. And the teacher told us we were awful and that Shakespeare would have wanted it that way.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. He would have loved that. He would have sat there beaming. Number 19, Homunculus Argument says, deer after almost 150 years of cars. Maybe if I stand really quietly here in this exposed area right in front of this thing that barrels directly towards me at unfathomable speeds, it won't see me. And then seagulls after 20 years of smartphones. The exact moment when the human glances at their rectangle is the best time to swoop in and snatch their shit from the other hand.
They're figuring it out.
Yeah. Well, gulls are way smarter than deer. That's for damn sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Number 20, Melanie Fang says, whoa, dude, when I heard about radfems, I thought it would be some most radical females. But these chicks are saying some bogus things about other babes.
Bruh.
And then Aveline Shepard posts a picture that makes it look like Bill and Ted or have a word bubble above them, and that's what the previous post is.
69, dude.
Whoa.
Nice.
Be excellent to each other. Come on. She learned nothing from the movie, Radfems? Number 21, Balaclava Trismegistus says, well, they posted an article that says prisoners could serve 1,000-year sentences in 8.5 hours in the future. There are a number of psychoactive drugs that distort people's sense of time, so you could imagine a developing pill or a liquid that made someone feel like they were serving a 1,000-year sentence. Isn't this that movie Dread?
Oh, I never saw that one. I just saw the 95 Judge Dredd.
Well, neither of them were amazing films, but the second one was more serious, and there was a drug that did that. That they weren't using, but the people were like doing it to skew their whole perception of time. And at the end of it, he throws the lady that's like the main criminal. He doses her, and then he throws her off the building so that she has to experience being thrown off the building for a really, really long time.
That was a
Oh my
sweet
God.
scene.
Yeah. If I drove a bulldozer through an Apple store and the cops just shoved me in a closet and pumped me full of DMT for 8 hours, I'd literally just do it again the second they let me out.
I'll live forever.
Number 22. Cap'n Soapy. That's a terrible name, by the way. Cap'n Soapy says, fun fact, if your breasts are somewhere between a 36C and 36D, then they weigh about the same as your brain. If you're above a D cup, you've probably got more boob than brain. And then Maggie Carp 2 says, don't I know it?
Hey now.
That's a great reply.
That's fine.
No, it's good to have excess of one of those two things,
Yeah.
Number 23, Lesbian says, being a humanities major who's friends with STEM majors is so funny because you'll ask your friends what they're doing today and they're like, ugh, it's so stressful. I have to stabilize the reactor core for my nuclear power midterm, and then I have to build the supercomputer for my have no mouth, yet I must scream for my electrical engineering homework. What about you? And you're like, oh, well, I have to read a fun little book and write an essay about gender. And they still think you have it worse. And then freaking Flip Flop says, being a STEM major who's friends with humanities majors is also funny because you'll ask what's going on with them and they're like, oh yeah, my day's pretty good. I only have to read 50 pages for this one class today and half a book for the other one. It's much better than last week where I read 3 books and wrote a 10-page paper about their overlapping motifs for one class while also researching a niche period of time that our library doesn't have any resources on. How's it been for you? And you're like, oh, I have a little packet full of fun math puzzles due tomorrow. And they look at you like you're carrying the weight of the universe on your back.
Everybody's got it worse.
The grass really is crappier, huh?
Yeah, it's brown.
The grass is browner. Number 24, Ocean A Romantic says, plays Assassin's Creed to study for my AP history exam. Wow. It's pretty.
It's not a bad idea.
It's actually pretty historically accurate.
Except for the whole time
the
being
time
in a body
yeah,
thing.
but everything that happens did happen at the time and place that it happens in the game. So.
Jumped in a lot of haystacks.
Yeah. Superhero Nerd says, I've actually heard this story before, but this is actually really funny. In high school, my humanities teacher told us about one of the Europe trips he had gone on with a school a few summers past. So him and the group of kids were out in the middle of Rome, and the tour guide has gotten lost. It's a crappy tour guide, huh? They could figure out how to get to some church they were going to see. All of a sudden, one of the students calls attention to himself. He says he knows where to go and just starts walking around the streets, taking back roads and side streets, and within 20 minutes, they're at the church they needed to get to. My teacher asked the kid if he's ever been to Italy before. He says no, he just knew where to go because he played Assassin's Creed Brotherhood.
Yes.
And then the Scarlet Empress says, I've been looking for this. I mean, it is a pretty popular Tumblr post that gets shared around.
I hope that's real.
It probably is. That they go through a lot of pains for the accuracy. Like you said, other than the whole time dilation thing.
Yeah.
Number 25, Skloog says, fucking bizarre that computers heat up while operating. Like, dude, it's just math. And official Kirchhoff, by the way, I discovered today, because I started Crisis Core Final Fantasy VII Reunion, that it's less taxing on my GPU temperature-wise than Monster Boy and the Cursed Kingdom is.
Wow, what?
Monster Boy and the Cursed Kingdom probably isn't very well optimized. Excellent game, though.
It looks fun.
It's so good. I'm enjoying the hell out. It's tough, but I'm loving it. So official Kirchie says, I too heat up doing math. They're not special. And then Tanadrin says it's worse than that. The laws of physics require doing math to produce waste heat. And then Overly Abstract says, it's bonkers that the answer to can I make a more efficient steam engine is no, and by the way, all good is temporary. But it's objectively even funnier that the answer to can my fucking CPU stop throttling is no, because otherwise you could make more efficient steam engines. And then Tanadrin says, Rolf Landauer looking at a steam engine. This is just a very bad computer.
Boiling it down.
I mean, it's doing math to produce heat.
There you go.
You know?
That's every computer ever.
Well, that's also every steam engine ever.
Yes.
But see, it's the other way. For a computer, they're doing math, and the heat is a byproduct. Steam engine's a little different. The heat is the main goal.
Right.
Number 26, Bogleach says, it's so funny how kids who were only given the girl toys seem to frequently develop the most maniacal imaginations. When I was little, I visited friends or families who were little girls. They'd have their Barbies involved in ritual sacrifice or human trafficking. Damn, I didn't know the Barbie movie and The Sound of Freedom had a crossover.
Ooh. Very nice.
Yeah. They'd have Barbie's evil twin drive Ken to suicide by poisoning his horse or some shit. Action figures set up only the simplest kinds of violence, heroes and villains punching or shooting each other over doomsday plots. When you crave high-stakes drama, as all children do, but your characters are all rich suburban women, you kind of have no choice but to get pitch dark, I think. The only kinds of villains that logically exist in that setting are just so much sicker and nastier than Dr. Octopus or something.
Let's get creative.
What's your favorite idea? Mine is being creative. Number 27, Sarasti says, so how is it that secondhand embarrassment is the single most powerful and weakening emotion one can feel from media? Tragedy? Delicious. A hard-earned happy ending? Wonderful. A convoluted narrative? Keeps you glued. Simple slice of life? It's entertaining. Secondhand embarrassment? Hang on, G, I gotta pause this for 15 minutes. No, I cannot continue watching this right now. I am just not strong enough.
Why is that so relatable?
Well, I mean, because... It's one thing to watch a tragedy. It's another thing to watch cringe.
Yeah, it's all about cringe entertainment, man. It's huge.
It's
huge.
Rough, yeah. But it can be a rough go, even for people who are into it.
Oh, yeah.
Number 28, Al's Grid says, the more I learn about the British government, the more it sounds like the setting for a generic young adult dystopia. What the hell is a shadow cabinet? Are they not evil? There's something called a chief whip? A Lord Commissioner of the Great Seal? Does he keep the Dark One locked away? Well, we do have politicians who are called whips in the United States as well.
What the fuck?
Yeah, a whip is somebody who whips up the votes, by the way, for anybody that's wondering. Yeah. The Dark One
they whip them up
escaped.
into a fine paste and then distribute them evenly.
Indeed. Number 29, Maddie Blue 223 posts a picture of a tweet from somebody named Tivrax. The healer also needs healing. The planner also needs surprises. The giver also needs to receive. The thoughtful also needs to be thought of. The considerate also needs to be considered. And then Honey in the Shade says, people give what they need. And Roachwork says, I think ultimately you become whoever would have saved you that time no one did. And then Chasing Shadows says, I think you ultimately become whoever would have saved you that time no one did. Hi, this devastated me because holy shit, holy shit.
Oh, Christ.
Tumblr really did get deep on that one.
I'm starting to drown on the deepness here.
Yeah, well, that's the point. And for some reason, even though it was called 30 Funniest, blah, 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 whatever, that was the last one at number 29. So we'll rank this one out of 29. Now, there were a lot of ones that I feel like I've already seen before, and many of them may have been in List Critics in the past. I think this might have been one of the greatest hits sort of things. So I'm going to give it, like, they were good, but I'm going to give it like a 10 because I've seen almost all of those before.
Oh, I would have graded it on are they still good?
They are. They do hold up, but I would have preferred more new content. There were only like a few in there that were new to me.
I'd give it a 24. It was actually pretty entertaining. There was just a couple that were like,
because,
okay.
Because the header says these were all from last week. They're not. I've seen more than half of those. The osteoporosis one was new.
I love it.
That was worth 10 points right there.
Bone apple tea.
You know what? I'll bump it up to a 12.
Hey.
What do you say, Sarah?
What?
What are you rating it?
Out of what?
Out of 29.
15.
15. All right. Okay,
I was being favorable.
But very favorable, I think. But, maybe you don't remember them, or maybe you hadn't experienced those particular ones, but I've seen most of those.
I could have heard those 10
yeah.
times already and be like, oh, it's still new to me.
That's true sometimes. I mean, some of the ones that were new to me, maybe I have seen before and I just didn't remember. Okay, before we get to the submitted lists, I do have another one from Pleated Jeans that I wanted to do. It's and I think this is really funny. It says 30 plus. Let's see how many there actually are. 30 plus is probably there's 32. So why can't it just say 32? 32 stories of people who didn't even make it through their first day before getting fired.
I hope one of them has somebody screaming, "It's my first day!"
You have to screw up pretty badly on your first day to actually get fired, right?
Mm.
Because usually, there's a lot of leeway for somebody to, on the first day. All right. So, well, actually, there's not even 32 of these. There's 31 because the first one is the person asking the question. What's the fastest way you've ever seen a new coworker get fired? So, number 2, Miss Megami says, 6 hours, call center job. She showed up to orientation on day 1 about an hour late. Hey, stuff happens. Then we go on a 15-minute break. She goes out to take a phone call, comes back after about 45 minutes. We go to lunch, it's 30 minutes. She comes back over an hour later. We go on afternoon break. How long is this day? Damn. When the 15-minute break is up, one of the trainers gets up and steps out in the hall and closes the door behind him. We hear her arrive and argue with him about 20 minutes after that. He comes back in and gets the stuff she left at her desk, and we never see her again.
Wow.
Number 3, Zamfire says, I was 1 hour late to the first day at a job once. I was given the street address, but not the city. I showed up to a non-existent address in Manhattan, not realizing it was in Brooklyn. They understood, and I actually went on to become a crew leader later on. Okay, but so nobody got fired. Why are you telling this story?
Yeah.
What?
That doesn't count.
That doesn't. Yeah, that's all right. You misunderstood the prompt, sir. Number 4, Nolo Finway. Oh, that's Lord of the Rings, Silmarillion reference. Nolo Finway. That's Feanor's father name.
Yes, it is.
What?
I don't know.
Yes, it is. That's vaguely sexual.
Damn right it is.
All right, so Nolo Finway says, worked for startups the past couple of years before I recently took a new gig, but we had to hire about 100 people in the span of 2 weeks, which I told my boss was a bad idea, but the CEO insisted. Hired a young lady. She had a spotty resume, but was very cheerful and friendly in the interview, and my boss's instructions were if they're nice and friendly, pass them on to me. We oversaw the customer service relations for this company. On her first day, she came in 15 minutes late, got into an argument with a customer on her first training call, and took the mic and farted into it as loud as I've ever heard a human being fart. We paid her for the full day. Best hire ever.
Now, he knew the assignment.
Yep.
So she just ripped one. Like, how could you argue it? Like, you're on the phone with customer service and you're like, now you listen here, and then you just hear this loud fart. Like,
Here's what I think of your opinion.
Like, it's almost like she was planning to do that, right?
That speaks to me on a spiritual level.
That's amazing. I mean, she's probably thinking, I'm gonna go in there and get fired, but it's gonna be worth it. Number 5, first day, her grandmother died. Understandable. Second day, her car broke down. Bad luck. Third day, she had no electricity and couldn't blow dry her hair. She was told not to bother coming in at all.
Whoa.
Has she heard of this invention called a towel?
3 strikes, you're out.
Yeah. All right, number 6. In high school, I worked at a clothing store as a cashier. A guy next to me has his sister come through with a huge pile of merchandise. He scans one item that was on clearance for like $2 over and over and over again for everything she had, which was like hundreds of dollars. Didn't realize the manager was standing right behind him. Go clock out and give me your name tag, you're gone. He didn't argue or anything, he just put his head down and walked off. The manager jumps on the register to clear the transaction out, and the sister takes out her card. This is going to be a credit. Manager says, not for $2, it's not, get out of here. The sister actually tried to complete the purchase like nothing had happened.
Trying to get away with it.
Jesus.
Number 7, Talon TD90, whatever the hell, says, Day 1, delivering pizzas. I was the trainer. Dude wasn't familiar with the town at all. This was before GPS was a thing. Second delivery, he gets in the car, proceeds to floor it in the parking lot, showing off all 80 horsepower for the 30 feet before slamming on the brakes to turn onto the main street, nearly hitting a customer and her young child. I say, whoa, slow down in the parking lot. You almost hit that kid. Fuck him, was his response. That was his last delivery. Lasted all of about 90 minutes. He took fuck them kids to a whole new level, huh?
Holy shit.
All right. Jay Piro says, a guy at my work was caught playing World of Warcraft for hours each day. Boss called him in and told him that was wholly unacceptable and he had to stop immediately or he'd be canned. Less than an hour later, IT calls the same boss and says the guy is back in his office playing again. He was let go that day. I mean, well, that wasn't the first day, but it's still kind of a funny story.
Yeah.
Number 9, he didn't get fired, but he quit. This dude was a first-day hire as a bagger at the grocery store. Some dude blew up the entire bathroom with diarrhea. Walls, doors, sink, mirror, everything. They asked the new dude to go clean it. He clocked out and never came back. He's a hero.
I ain't doing that shit.
How do you get it on the mirror? Like,
People just smear that shit literally everywhere.
it sounds smearing it on my chest.
I've been in a Kroger bathroom before.
Ooh, that's disgusting. Number 10, 50 effing cabbages. That's why I said that. 50 effing cabbages says I used to work night at audit/front desk at a motel adjacent to major highways. It was a super chill job. I loved my boss and it was cool by me. But God, having to hire and train someone to take over my hours, once for maternity leave, and then when I was moving away, was a nightmare. One lady claimed to be computer literate and then tried to use the mouse to physically touch the correct spot on the monitor when I asked her to click on a field.
Oh, Lord.
Another got extremely confused when I mentioned that sleeping with a guest was completely out of bounds. A guy got arrested and fired, of course, for selling drugs to someone out of the night window. It was just an absolute shit show. Damn.
Man, what's their hiring process like? Dang.
You over there, you're hired. That's their hiring process. Number 11, before I moved, I gave my boss a 2-month notice because I knew hiring and training was going to be a nightmare. About a week before my final shift, we finally got someone in place. She was more than a bit strange and could certainly have used a spot of mental health care, but hey, I can't throw stones. She showed up, grasped the basics of the job, etc. About a week after I left, I learned that she had quit because she didn't realize that night audit was a purely overnight job. I don't know.
What?
What, thought it was evening audit, perhaps?
Maybe she thought she was auditing the night people, but during the day.
Oh.
I don't know.
No, maybe.
I don't know. Number 12. Beer-powered nonsense. That's an amazing username.
Nice.
Says, how about getting fired before you start working? Our boss hired a new person as a contractor and he was available to work immediately, so he was scheduled to start work the day after his interview. Next morning, my boss turns up very annoyed and shows me his phone. The new hire had sent several rambling and confused texts that could be summarized as, had a few drinks last night, won't be able to come into work today, you know how it is. My boss told him the contract was canceled.
Oh, dude. Dude, you gotta wait.
Number 13, Mr. Itch says, worked in a sales call center about 10 years ago. Real brain dead work. New guy starts on a Monday morning after he gets trained up on the basics, which takes about an hour. He gets assigned to a desk and sets off to work. 30 minutes later, it looks like little puffs of steam are rising up from his computer monitor. Turns out he was vaping on one of those disposable e-cigarettes, the kind that sort of tried to look like real cigarettes. He gets told by the boss that we can't vape indoors and that if he wants to, he'll have to go outside to do it on a break. About 30 minutes later, the same thing happens. He gets caught again and is told in no uncertain terms that if he wants to keep his job, he'll stop vaping at his desk. An hour later, he gets caught hiding under his desk vaping and is promptly fired all before lunchtime. Dude could have just gone outside.
Or just, not vape. God, how often does he have to do it?
But they told him that he could go outside and do it. That's the funny part. I'm not on my desk. I'm under my desk.
Doesn't count.
Yeah. Number 14, worked second shift at a factory. This is a Froboro or some shit. I don't know. Worked second shift at a factory. Late in the evening, we would prop open the doors along the side street to try to catch a breeze in the summertime. One night, this drunk guy stumbles in through the side door and just starts striking up conversations with everyone like he owns the place. I run over and try to tell him that he can't be in there, and he starts telling me he's supposed to start work that night. We kind of argue for about 5 to 10 minutes about the fact that I don't have anyone new starting that night, and I finally tell him that he needs to contact someone in the office the next morning. When I come into work the next day, the first shift supervisor told me that he was supposed to have a new guy start that day, but he never showed up. I told him that guy had actually shown up 12 hours early and staggering drunk. In a way, he was fired before his first day on the job.
Man,
Wow.
what's all these people getting loaded before work? Like, what's up?
You're like, I got a new job. Let me celebrate.
Sarah, you all right over there?
Yeah, you sound like you're dying over there. What's going on?
Vaping.
Vape Nation.
No,
Oh, that's not Sarah making those noises. That's someone in the
I was just
background.
smoking.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
dang.
I was just smoking a little bit.
Number 15,
No,
Sunless Tatooine says, pizza delivery gig. New guy on his first ships. Claims he's got previous experience, so he doesn't need training. Clocks in, grabs a few pizza orders ready for delivery, leaves with his car to deliver. An hour later, the calls start coming in about the status of their order. They haven't been delivered. The guy just grabbed himself a bunch of free pizzas and left. I secretly admired him.
Oh, man.
Amazing.
It is really funny.
I ain't even mad. That's awesome.
I'm
Grab
mad
some-
either.
Mine now.
Yeah. Cruel Hand Luke, that's a fantastic name. Cruel Hand Luke says a coworker sent an email to a female team member that he had a dream the night before that they had gotten married, and he, and this is the phrase he used, impregnated her. She sat across from me, and I literally saw her face as she read the email. A strange look came across her face, then she walked into the manager's office. She left the office and got called in less than an hour later, was packing... She left the office, and he got called in less than a minute later, was packing his things. I believe from start to finish, it took less than 5 minutes for him to send the email and get fired.
Ugh.
Wow.
Dude, impregnated. Ugh. Gross, gross, gross.
If you have a dream about a coworker, generally speaking, you don't tell the coworker that.
You
Yeah,
keep it to yourself,
leave it there.
yourself.
Yeah.
You keep it to yourself.
And then if you feel comfortable enough with this person, like you really know them, you might say, I had a dream that we were married and we had a kid. You don't say, I impregnated you. That's gross.
I impregnated you.
Nasty. Right. Number 17, Aethel Drake says, day one shot up right outside the building. Clocked in, went to work, was found an hour later, slumped over a table, slowly munching on stolen muffins like an elderly dog. Clarification, shot up as in they injected drugs with a needle. Yeah, I kind of figured that out the first time.
Yeah.
They had 3 weeds.
I injected one entire marijuana. I had a coworker that was clearly doing that. She was
Oh, no.
falling asleep and at her desk and shit. It was amazing.
Amazing.
It was amazing. One time she like kind of stumbled and a little bag of heroin fell out of her purse.
Oh my god.
Oh,
As long as it wasn't spaghetti.
no, the spaghetti stayed in her pockets the whole time.
Thank you.
Number 19, Lintbrush says, new IT guy asked me, an accountant, if he could use my company card to process payments. I asked, what payments does a freshly hired IT guy have that accounting and purchasing can't take care of? His excuse was that the president emailed him personally asking for him to pay some invoices via some links he sent. Yep, an IT guy fell for a phishing scam. Gone the following day. It was in that moment my company learned never to have the director of finance oversee and hire for an IT-related role. Yeah, I mean, like, honestly, you shouldn't be in an IT position if you can't recognize that that's bullshit.
What the actual fuck?
Yeah, I am the president of your company. You must send me iTunes gift cards. You know, like...
Yeah.
Number 19, Alternative Film Made 886 says, I was working as a stable boy and I was showing the new girl around the stables. As I introduced her to the horses, she was very apprehensive to come near them, refusing to even step into the stall. She signed on to help care for the horses. Later that day, she admitted that the horses terrified her, so the boss let her go. Well, how could you take care of horses if you're terrified of them?
Yeah, you kind of know that signing up.
Maybe she didn't. Maybe she thought it would be cool, and then, like, faced with giant horses staring at her, she's like, oh god, oh god, oh god.
I thought this was the beginning of a joke too. Stable boy.
Yeah.
Farmer girl. Oh boy.
Yeah. Oh, Riddle's got a story. Listen to this. Had a coworker at Wendy's that was usually high. He was once gone for a week because he got arrested for driving while high. The turnover rate was so high Even the turnover rate was high. That they never actually fired him.
Oh, wow.
My God. Well, when I worked at Progressive Health, I had a coworker that one day just wasn't there. And then there was like an article in the newspaper that she had gotten arrested for like she got pulled over and like she had like crack and knives in her car and
man.
all this stuff. Yeah. She's a really nice lady. And I knew she was on something, but she was like functioning, you know? I didn't figure it was crack.
But knives,
Yeah.
yo.
I don't know why she had knives. I mean, knives are legal, but like, there's like this weird thing where like if you have drugs and knives, it's like that makes the knives illegal somehow. Anyway, Generico 300 says, oh, this is number 20. New guy came into work hammered out of his mind and started trying to operate a forklift right in front of the regional safety manager. A lot of forklift certified and right in front of my OSHA handbook memes were shared that day. Number 21, Fordo says, we hired a new guy locally to help us do an audio-video system installation on a Navy base. We were a government contractor located near D.C., and this installation was near New Orleans, so hiring some locals was commonplace for us. The equipment had been delivered to a Navy warehouse downtown, all of it on pallets. We needed to break up the pallets and load everything into a couple of vans that we'd rented so we could take it to the job site. Because it was the Navy's warehouse, protocol was to wait for one of their guys to drive the forklift. New guy didn't want to wait and jumped into the seat of the forklift, said he had plenty of experience with forklifts, proceeded to ram one of the forks through a very expensive new 80-inch diagonal plasma display, panicked, and then backed the forklift into the rear of one of the vans, smashing it in and destroying a taillight, hopped off the forklift and said, cool. All of this within the first 15 minutes of his first day.
Oh my God.
The best part is he's like, oh, it's cool. That was awesome. Like it's Beavis and Butthead or some shit.
Sounds like, I don't know, like the beginning of an Ernest movie where he's really bad at a job and gets fired for being a klutz.
Ernest joins the Navy.
Yeah.
Hey, Vern, I wrecked their shit, Vern. All right. Number 22, Secret Tunnel Film says, showed up and just instantly dropped her entire life story on the boss, preventing them from doing work and not doing any work her whole first shift. Boss gave her another chance, and the next day she just sat in the back in tears over a text she got for the whole day.
Whoa.
That's an intense text.
Wow, right? Hey, Taco, how's it going? It sounds like she was a wreck. Number 23, Ginger Whisker says, new guy offered to pull a semi-trailer to a dock for unloading. Said he did it in the Army all the time. I told him, nah, you got to get tested out by the safety first. It's the safety guy first. Someone else will handle it. 5 minutes later, I see him pulling the trailer around anyway. Okay, I got to go tell this dude he's fired 2 hours in. Before I could advise him of his updated employment status, the damn trailer came loose off the tractor, slid right off the back. He did know how to drive a semi. He did not know how to check that the trailer was locked in.
Oh my God, some people.
And that man probably had a fake-sounding name.
Jesus Christ.
Jake Boyman.
I was thinking some made-up name that can't be real.
Vincent Adultman.
Like Peyton Brown, you know. Number 24, Queasy Box. That's a hell of a name. Says, when I was in college working at Walmart as a cashier, I trained a girl in the register one evening. Maybe a week later, she comes through my lane buying groceries. I ask her how she's been since I haven't seen her since the day after I trained her, and she tells me unprompted she's waiting on her court date. One of her friends went through her checkout lane, but she only actually scanned about a third of the items. About $1,500 of merchandise went out the door free of charge. My response out loud was, oh. My response in my head was, did you seriously not see the cameras mounted above every single register?
Jesus.
Wow. Waiting
Big
for
old
her court date. Damn.
Duh.
I read a thing about Walmart that they know when you steal, especially like self-checkout, right? They can tell. But they wait for you to steal a certain amount that they can prosecute.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yep.
They keep track?
Yeah, they do, from what I understand, because you know how like you ever go through like the self checkout and there's like somebody that's supposed to be watching, but they're like on their phone the whole time. They're on an app that is tracking everything.
You know what's funny? I sometimes do the opposite. I'll scan everything, pay for it, and then forget 1 or 2 items.
Oh, that happens. You just I paid for it, but somebody else gets to enjoy it, huh?
Yep.
Number 25, Bottle T says, hopped on the forklift. Why, there's a lot of forklift ones in here. Hopped on the forklift with no one else around. Been doing this for years, he told us. Lift started leaking hydraulic fluid. Dude just goes about his business unloading a truck, handling orders, and so on. Told no one. Sprayed that oily mess all over the entire warehouse until there was none left. Went to lunch. There was literally a lake of it. Had to shut down the warehouse for a week to clean it up. Tens, if not hundreds of thousands in damaged product and late and canceled orders. We asked him if he knew it was leaking. Yes. We asked him why he didn't stop or tell anyone. I wanted to get my work done so I can go to lunch. Even after being fired, he still didn't think he did anything wrong.
Dude, it's leaking.
Well, I need to get to lunch, though. Like, if it's leaking, maybe tell them it's leaking and then go to lunch, right? All right, number 26, Desperate Drink here says, came in 2 hours late, didn't do any actual work, and then asked how long he has to keep doing tasks below his qualifications. Not very long, I guess, huh?
Technically, your work is done, sir.
Yeah. Number 27, Lazy and Lovin' It says, I know someone who was hired as a manager of some retail store. Being the manager, he thought he could show up wherever he damn well pleased on his first day since he's the boss. He showed up around noon and found the store closed. Turns out as the boss, only he had the keys, so the staff couldn't open the store. Big boss man didn't have to worry about opening the store the next day. He no longer had a job. I mean, yeah, how does he expect the store to open? It just magically happens, right? Number 28, Salt Not Sugar says, we hired a woman who turned out to be pretty abrasive. How she got hired, I have no idea. Our secretary was the sweetest lady in the office and never complained until this new hire talked with her for a few minutes. Right after talking to this horrible person, she approached the boss and said she would walk off the job if this new worker stayed on with us. By lunch, half the office was ready to walk off the job because of this abrasive person. She just had an utterly horrible way of talking to people that made them feel degraded and enraged. She was let go at the end of the day. That's wild. Like, imagine that you suck that badly that everybody hates you within a few minutes.
I almost want to see this person in action to be that abrasive.
It sounds like a Mad TV sketch, you know?
Oh, God.
Abrasive Abby or some shit, you know?
Oh, God. I can picture it now.
Number 29, Tuckeen says he helped the shift leader, a friend of his, steal the ATM from the lobby. He used his own pickup truck. Got it. Did everything completely wrong. Number 30, I work in, this is Ren Mauzo says, I work in software engineering, and a couple of times I've seen people let go like after 2 weeks because they just couldn't do the job at all. Not me personally, but a former coworker told me about an incident at a prior job where the person who showed up to work was not the same person they interviewed. Obviously, they were immediately let go. Can you imagine that conversation? Like, hey, weren't you a different guy?
It's like pinch hitting for a job.
Who are you even? Or maybe pitch hitting for the interview is what it probably was, right? Yeah. Number 31, ZCM 1084 says new guy was a senior research assistant. Senior research scientist, and that position was filled after having difficulty finding the right guy. Usually our company offers $5,000 for moving expenses. For him, he was moving from North Carolina. He was offered $10,000. When he started his first week, he gave a $10,000 receipt from a moving company. Our financial and accounting team looked at this single $10,000 receipt and called the moving company, asking them why they charged $10,000 to move a couple of couches and a TV. They got flustered, I think, and said, look, we don't want any trouble. This guy offered us $1,000 to give him a made-up receipt of $10,000, so we did. He was fired immediately. The VP was like, let's put this as an infraction and not fire him since it took so much time to fill this position. The CEO put his foot down, saying this doesn't look like he was doing this for the first time, plus more importantly, what if he starts manipulating research data? This idiot's salary was $120,000 and he lost the gig for $10,000.
Oof.
Oh, that hurt. Why would you do that?
Because some people just, they do it because they think they can, you know? That's all it really comes down to. And finally, number 32, Tupac Schwartz. That's an amazing name, Tupac Schwartz. Says, got a speeding ticket, 20 plus miles per hour or over in the company car, picking up lunch for the staff day one.
They really wanted it to get there hot.
Impressive, right? 20 miles per hour over. I mean, so like that's it. Like if you're picking up lunch, it was probably in a residential area, right? So Imagine the speed limit's like 35. You're going 55.
I can't drive 55.
Fuck them. Well, out of 32, considering that one of them wasn't even a story, these were pretty good, though. I'm going to say 28.
I'm going to give it a 29.
Sarah?
27.
27!
27!
27!
Have you been waiting for the opportunity to say that?
There we go.
Actually, no, but it lined up quite nicely.
It did, didn't it? Okay, so here's a list submitted by Alice. Let me just mark it here. This is from a website called Live Japan. And if it ever loads, here it is. These are 6 ridiculous Hokkaido ice cream flavors that'll make you want to lick your screen.
What?
Okay, so Hokkaido is a part of Japan, and apparently Japan doesn't do anything little.
No.
Have you ever seen how many Kit Kat flavors they got over there? It's
wild. Yeah, I've tried a few of them.
They're wild. There's so many of them. So these are some ice cream flavors that apparently exist in Hokkaido. So at number 1, Hokkaido Lavender Soft Cream. Enjoy the aroma of lavender and quality sweetness.
That sounds nice.
Yeah. I'd try it.
Yeah.
It's got this beautiful pale indigo thing, too.
Soft cream.
Whatever that is, right? Okay, number 2 is Santa no Hige, which is a collaboration of melon and soft cream. So it's actually served in a cantaloupe, judging by the picture here. And there's like 2 flavors of ice cream in there. One is like vanilla, and the other is like a melon flavor.
Who are you calling a cantaloupe, you melon head?
Yeah. Number 3 is Aoi Aiki Soft Cream, which is a vibrant blue, just like the famous Hokkaido Blue Pond. Well, it's green, but in Japan they call green blue. So it's not telling me what the actual flavor is. It's named after the Blue Pond Aoi Ike, but
I'm reminded of that scene where Data's trying to figure out what this green drink is, and all he can think of is it's green.
Yeah, it's apparently yogurt flavored. Okay. All right. Number 4 is the Densuke watermelon flavored soft cream. Watermelon ice cream? I don't know.
Maybe.
I don't know. That's a little sus.
I don't know, man.
I don't know about all that.
It's a little suspect. Think it's gonna get you?
Yeah. Number 5, it's suspicious is what it is. Number 5 is Ebisu Kabucha Soft, wonderful rich sweetness of Japanese pumpkin. Pumpkin ice cream. Man, they're light years ahead of us, huh?
I mean, I do love pumpkin pie.
Pumpkin
Maybe
is
ice cream?
Hold on, Sarah. There's like a lot of noise coming from your end. Like a lot of. It almost sounds like you're moving the microphone around a lot or something. So just letting you know that it's coming through. It's like almost like a wind or something, Just letting you know. Number 6 is Hamanasu Soft Cream Light Pink Bittersweet Hokkaido Soft Serve.
That's pretty loaded.
Is this a common thing in Japan where they tell you the color that the ice cream is instead of what it actually tastes like? It's just light pink, bittersweet. Oh, I guess it's bitter and sweet, but what is the actual flavoring agent here? I'm reading this to find out.
Purple is a fruit.
So apparently Hananasu mix is some sort of flavoring that's mixed in there. Okay. And was that the last one? Was it only 6 of them, or am I tripping? Was it supposed to be 7?
I think you said 6.
Oh, okay. I thought I said 7. Okay. Well, I was hoping for like some really crazy flavors, and it mostly is just this one's blue.
Honestly, I was expecting squid ink, but no.
I think that's all over the place, though. It's not specific to Hokkaido, Hokkaido, they're like, we have this lovely soft cream for you. It is indigo. And like, what does it taste like? It tastes like the color indigo. Out of 6, though, it was interesting to read. I will give it a 4.
I will agree with your 4.
Yeah, I'm going 4.
Oh, God. I just realized 444 is like the evil number in Japan.
Perfect.
Yeah. Okay, so Alice also submitted this from onetreeplanted.org. 15 amazing trees to remind you why nature is awesome. 15 trees? This is what we're doing here? Okay. All right. So number 1 are mangrove trees. The mangrove trees are a group of trees and shrubs that live along sheltered subtropic and tropical coastlines. They exist in mangroves and have the unique capability of growing within reach of the tides in salty soil. So when there's high tides, they're partially submerged. And then when there's low tides, you can actually see the roots.
Oh,
It's kind of cool.
cool.
Yeah. Number 2 is called a kapok tree. They're really large trees when fully matured, and they grow up to 230 feet high and up to 10 feet in diameter. They're known for their huge buttresses coming from the trunk, which are large roots that stay above the land. It actually looks almost like a cactus. With it's green with like spikes on it.
Sweet.
Number 3 are juniper trees in Sedona, Arizona. They're the weirdest thing. They not only are they growing sideways, but they're all like twisted. It's the wildest thing. They twist and turn and they go sideways. And it says, check out these juniper trees in Sedona, Arizona. Why do you think they twist like that? Maybe it's to get more sun, but many locals and tourists believe it's due to mystical energy that comes from vortexes.
Okay.
Well, look, if they were smart, they would know that it's vortices.
I thought it was vertices.
It could be. Number 8 is called angel oak tree. I have to show you guys this one.
Do it.
You know, I don't want to be showing too many pictures here, but you have to see the angel oak tree, and there it is. Looks like a freaking painting.
I love it.
Look at that. If you wanted to climb it, you could just step onto one of the branches and walk on up.
Yes.
Yeah. That's wild, right? It's like something out of a video game.
Yeah, like you get a heart piece at the top.
Hey, do. All right, number 5 are the Socotra dragon trees, which they look like something from like an album cover from like Yes, you know. They're from Yemen. Like imagine like a mushroom that kind of looks like a tree.
Ooh, yeah. I kind of like that.
Number 6 is the rainbow eucalyptus tree. And I know what you're thinking. Is it a rainbow? It sure the hell is.
Get out.
But the weirdest thing, I have to show the picture. Because it doesn't even look real. Not only does it look like a painting, but it looks like a friggin' watercolor painting. Look at this. That doesn't look like a photograph, but it is.
I want one.
Oh, wow.
Isn't that wild?
It's a rainbow.
It really is.
It's yeah, that's something, all right. Where do these grow? Let's see if it says. Apparently they also change color. It doesn't say where they grow, though. Number 7
so they're mood trees?
Yeah, they're mood trees. Tibetan cherry trees, which, the Tibetan cherry trees are bright red, and they have, like, this, like, weird fungus-looking bark in stripes. Like horizontal stripes encircling them.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah. Number 8 are aspen trees. Aspen trees are pretty common if you're in Colorado, but unlike pine, they do not have chemical compounds that make them more flammable, so they kind of resist fire.
They're resistant to fire?
Yeah, they actually grow them as barriers for forest fires. Yeah, isn't that wild?
Help control the fires.
Number 8 is Sagano bamboo, which is really, really fucking big bamboo.
Bambizzle.
And bambizzle. Number 10 is the strangler fig, which is a fig tree that, well, it looks like if any tree could get up and walk towards you and choke you, this tree could.
They call those ents.
I mean, it looks like it could be an ant or at least a huorn, right? Number 11 is the sequoia trees. Those are really, really big fucking trees in California. Yeah.
They're kind of big.
Number 12 are the trees of the Oyamal forest, which are just fucking covered in butterflies. So if you're into butterflies, that's where you want to go.
Nobody suspects the butterfly.
Number 13 are the sakura blossoms from Japan. You know, it's a national event when these things bloom. Everybody goes out to look at the motherfuckers.
I'd love to be ensconced in that. Oh my god.
Number 14 are trees of the dead Vlay. Dead Vlay is dead marsh. It's in the Namib desert, and there's these trees that grow right out of the fucking desert. They really don't have any like leaves or anything, but they're there.
Like, how?
I don't know. And number 15 are the Ponderosa Pines at Bryce Canyon in Utah. So to put it in perspective, they look like they're made out of stone.
Oh, awesome.
It's the weirdest fucking thing. But yeah, and they're really big. They can grow 200 feet tall with 3 to 4 feet in diameter.
And they have the appearance of stone.
And apparently they smell like vanilla and butterscotch.
Oh my god. Is there anything bad about these trees?
No.
If one falls on you, you will definitely die because they're big.
That's not a bad thing.
Yeah. Okay. Out of 15, that was a lot cooler than I had anticipated. I will give that a full ass 15.
Yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
They all sound equally cool. 15 across.
So, Manic Scarecrow, also known as easy in the chat as Taco the Octopus, sent me a ranker list, the 12 most annoying non-playable characters in video games.
Interesting.
When they have a lot to say with unskippable dialogue.
Well, yeah, but can you think of a specific character that you just find to be intolerable?
I'd need time.
Yeah. How about the annoying fan from Oblivion? I mean, the dude is literally called the annoying fan.
What about the annoying reporter from Mass Effect?
There you go. Isn't there like an option to punch her at one point?
I think there was.
Yeah, I think you could punch her across all 3 games, from what June told me.
God, I hope so.
Yeah, you know what's wild about the annoying fan though is they're bringing him back for Starfield. Yeah.
Oh, goody.
Okay, so these don't, even though it's ranker.com, these don't appear to be in any specific order. They're not actually numbered. But here are the 12 most annoying non-playable characters in a video game, starting with the Balloon Kid from Spider-Man 2. The old Spider-Man 2, not the one that's coming out. Oh, Spider-Man, I lost my balloon.
Fetch quests.
Yeah, and they're always losing their balloons, and you can get like a certain amount of hero points for grabbing the balloon for them.
Wow, what a hero.
Yeah, right. Navi from Ocarina of Time.
Hey!
See, I think that the reason that most people find Navi to be incredibly difficult is they try to ignore her and not... Like when she says, hey, you press the button, and then she says her thing, you don't even have to fucking read it. And that's it. But if you just ignore, like, I don't want to read that, you can't make me read that. And then throughout the whole game, hey, listen, hey, listen. Like, just press the C up button, you ass.
It's the prompt is right on the screen.
Yes. Please stop. Oh.
Yeah, she's not so bad.
Yeah, I'm not as annoyed by Navi as most people are. Slippy Frog from Star Fox. I think that the moment they decided to give him that voice is when they doomed him to be on this list.
Yeah, it really is the voice.
You know, because in the original Star Fox it's all, you know, and then in Star Fox 64 it's, oh no, Fox.
Hey, help me.
Yeah. Sticky from Fallout 3. I never played Fallout 3, but
Nah, I don't know.
I don't remember that NPC.
it says Sticky's just a normal kid growing up in a harsh, barren lands of a post-apocalyptic Earth, but he's a piece of shit.
It's a piece of shit.
Yeah. Apparently he's a grown man who is like pretending that he's a little boy, and then he's really irritating.
Weird. Okay.
Yeah.
It's been a long time since I played that one.
It's possible that he might actually. It's possible that he may actually be someone who's supposed to be a boy, but there's no children in Fallout 3, so they just use the adult.
What about the cave full of kids?
In Fallout 3, there's a cave full of kids.
Oh, sorry. Was that New Vegas?
It might have been. I thought Fallout 3 didn't.
Then they call you Mungo, and then I wanted to shoot one. Like, Mungo, Mungo.
Whoa.
Okay, Alice is telling me there are children in Fallout 3. I thought there weren't. Then I've never played it. I'll have to defer to. Oh, I'm sorry. It's not even the annoying fan. The guy from Oblivion, the adoring fan is what he's called from Oblivion. This guy, as soon as you start winning a few matches in the arena, he comes running up to you, and if you don't tell him to fuck off right there and then, he will follow you for the rest of the game.
Holy, for the rest of the game.
Until you murder him. You know. He will not leave you alone.
So yeah, just drag him to a cave and then do him in.
Yeah. Well, a lot of people like to lead him up to a cliff and push him over. And, you know, yeah, you can tell him to stop. It is true, but he will eventually just reappear out of nowhere.
I have a sudden urge to play Skyrim.
But yeah, no, I remember when I was doing that quest line in Oblivion, and he came up to me, and I just said, you know, something like, "Leave me alone, kid." And you just see like all the joy drained from his face, and he's like, "Oh, okay," you know. And then he never bothered me again. But he's in Starfield. That's the wild thing. They put him in Starfield. The mall survivors in Dead Rising. I've never played Dead Rising.
No idea.
But it's pretty much like Day of the Dead, the video game. Oh, I'm sorry, Dawn of the Dead, the video game.
Yeah.
Not Day of the Dead. Wes Dickens is a character from Red Dead Redemption that apparently people don't like.
He's probably a bad man.
He's a literal snake oil salesman.
Yes, I remember that.
Yeah.
Dude, I love that game.
Ashley Graham in Resident Evil 4, specifically the original version.
Oh yeah, the original.
She is significant. Okay, Sarah, you got to do something. Like you're making a lot of noise. Like, are you breathing on the microphone?
No, I'm wearing a headphone that has the microphone mounted in.
Oh, maybe your hair is like doing that or something. But,
I mean, I just put my hair up. Yeah.
The weirdest thing, it's not doing it when you're talking. It's only doing it when I'm talking. Well, all right. You know what? There's a push to talk option you might want to look into at one point, but I'm just letting you know there's a lot of noise. Ashley's significantly less irritating in the remake from what I've seen. She can use ladders now.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
Yes, please.
Yeah, she can go down a ladder by herself instead of jumping and having you catch her.
Miracle of technology.
Okay, I'm sorry, Sarah. I just realized that noise is coming from Jesse.
Really?
Yeah, because I just heard it and Sarah's muted, and I saw your name lighting up. You're the one making the breathing noises. Are you on push? Aren't you normally on push to talk?
Yeah, I am.
Well, whenever I'm talking, I'm hearing it's. Honestly, I'm gonna tell you what it sounds like. It sounds like that.
Well, I'm on push to talk. How do I sound now?
You sound good. I'm sorry, Sarah. I thought that was you. It was actually coming from Jesse's end. I don't know what's going on over there.
Is it fixed?
Yeah, it doesn't seem to be doing it right now. I'll let you know.
Okay.
Yeah, but Ashley was significantly more irritating in the original game. Guilty Spark from Halo 3. I mean, he's the villain, so you do get to kill him.
But is he annoying?
He was more annoying in Halo 2, I felt. I don't know. I played through these games not too long ago, and I found him to be kind of funny. He was a little more annoying in the second game. Actually, the first game, he was really annoying, now that I think of it. Because there was this really rough level called the library, and it's just hard, you know, no matter what difficulty you're playing on. And the whole time, he's floating around like, dum 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 dum, you know. And it's like, shut up.
Shut the fuck up.
Tingle's on this list because, of course, he is.
Tingle Kulu Limpa.
So, for some reason, and I don't think we understand why this is, but Tingle is actually hugely popular in Japan, and they don't understand why we hate Tingle.
I don't hate him. I think he's weird, but that's it.
I get why people hate him. I'd rather not deal with him. I do find him irritating, but I don't have like a visceral reaction to Tingle.
I just think of him as, I don't know, a guy that provides me with helpful quest stuff.
Not in Majora's Mask, you don't.
Having to shoot down that balloon every time.
That's the game that they're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fargoth from Morrowind. I don't understand the whole Fargoth thing because, like, he's one of the first few NPCs that you can potentially run into, and I think it's just like people are like, oh my god, his voice is annoying because he comes in like, I have a feeling you and I are gonna become very close, and it's like every wood elf sounds like that. So I don't know why they single out Fargoth.
Persecution against wood elves, yo.
Yeah, if there's a wood elf in not Oblivion in Morrowind that's like the most irritating, it would be this dude Gaynor. He's a character from the first expansion, Tribunal, and he's just standing there. And if you come anywhere near him and you talk to him, he asks you for some money, right? This is the 10 gold, right? And if you say yes, he'll be like, oh, well, if you got 10, how about 100? And every time you say yes, he just adds a 0 to it until he's asking you for 1,000,000 gold, right? And which you likely don't have. And if you do have it and you offer him the 1,000,000 gold, he thinks you're making fun of him and he gets really angry and then won't talk to you anymore. If you say no, he's obstinate and you have to say no to him like 3 times in a row, and then he gets really angry. Like, there's no good way that the conversation could go. It always, no matter what, ends in him getting angry and refusing to talk to you. Then your best bet is to murder him, because he will show up 3 days later in a full suit of ebony armor with a luck stat of 777, and he will attack you.
What the heck?
Yeah. And if you don't know what the luck stat does, when it's that fucking high, you're basically invincible. Everything you do to him will miss. Spells fail. You hit him. The game's like, no, you didn't. He gets crits. So you know how I handle it? I have the Gaynor recipe. So I'll make like a Fortify Intelligence potion, right? You drink it. Your intelligence goes up. Make another potion. It's a more potent one, right? Because your intelligence is higher. Drink that one. Keep stacking intelligence until it's like really, really fucking high. Like a couple of thousand, right?
Whoa.
Then make one, because it goes up really quick. It's exponential. Then you make one Fortify Luck potion. One time I came at him with 1,200 luck.
Holy dude.
He's at 777. I'm at 1,200. He attacks me. I just hit him once and he goes down. It was over. Critical.
I guess you could just kill him before he comes back with all that crazy stuff.
That can be rough because there's guards all over the place and there's no way to goad him into attacking you because of the way that his dialogue works. For some reason, the last entry is Princess Peach. Do people find Peach to be particularly annoying?
Maybe in Mario Party when she goes, "Did I win?"
Well, I mean, she's taunting you. That's not supposed to sound or feel good.
Oh yeah, because I usually play as Peach in Mario Party.
Oh, so you're weaponizing it. I don't know. The text here is just saying that she's annoying for being kidnapped so often, but let's be real. I mean, she's banging Bowser, right?
It's a fetish.
Yeah, she's into it. But Bowser is
it's that CNC.
Her dom. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Fuck off. Sarah, you need to come to wherever the hell that Jesse is and kick his ass for us. Actually, you know what? I'm not hearing you now, Sarah. Are you saying anything? Because now I'm not hearing you at all.
Yeah.
Sarah?
Hello?
Boy, we're having all kinds of microphone problems today. First, I thought her microphone was... there you are.
Hey.
There you are. Yeah, like first I thought you were being loud. It turns out it was Jesse. Then we're not hearing you. Do you have one of those where you flip it a certain way and it mutes?
No, I accidentally left it on push to talk in the menu while we were still talking.
Oh, okay.
And then I clicked out of the menu, the settings menu. I'm like, wait, what?
I don't think you need to use the push because, like I said, it was Jesse's, and it's not doing it anymore anyway. So we're good.
Yeah,
to go.
yeah. Am I cool over here now?
Yeah, you're good. I haven't heard it in a while.
Okay, good.
All right.
I don't know what I did, but I did it great.
You did it good. Okay, so there you go. Out of 12, I'm sorry that we didn't hear any of your commentary on there. I thought you were just being quiet, Sarah. But I you know what? I don't agree with Peach. But
no, I don't agree with Pete.
And I don't really, honestly, don't agree with Navi, but so I'm gonna give it a 10.
Yeah, I'll give it a 9. 'Cause, like, you
Yeah.
need Navi. It's just, you
It,
need Navi.
if there's a really super fucking annoying Zelda character, it's probably the Fee from Skyward
Ugh,
Sword. I mean,
just the wordiness of
just
Fee.
yeah, just shut up already.
Like, I get what they're going for, but cut it out.
I get you, but shut up. What's your ranking there, Jesse?
I don't know about a lot of these. A lot of these I could actually put up with, so I'd probably go 5.
You're not that easily annoyed, are you?
No, but I am that easily annoying.
Ah, that's a skill right there. All right. Well, thank you, Manic. Manic also sent. Okay, I don't know why this list exists, but somebody ranked all the characters from Lufia 2.
Oh,
Huh.
I mean, it is one of my favorite games on the Super Nintendo, so that's kind of cool. But somebody, Lufia 2 Rise of the Sinistrals, all characters ranked from something called RPGranked.com. I guess that's what the site's all about.
Like worst to best, or what are we talking?
I'm guessing this is all the playable characters ranked from worst to best.
Okie doke.
So their pick for this, there's 7 playable characters in Lufia 2. Their pick for the worst character is Lexus, which is a shame because Lexus is really, really good in battle. He doesn't really get good weapons, but he's got the highest intelligence stat, so he absolutely destroys with spells. The unfortunate thing is you don't get him for a good amount of time.
I mean, have you ever really driven a Lexus? They're not that good. Yeah.
Spelled slightly differently.
got him.
Number 6 is Tia. A lot of people just hate Tia for some reason, but yeah, Tia's temporary, and that's the thing. She does leave at about the halfway point in the game and never returns. So, but
Guess
her,
they should call her Tiamperary.
yeah,
Oh, that doesn't work.
her character arc is quite good though. She's a very great, cool character. You can't get it open, EB. That's wild. I mean, like a saw or like a chainsaw or something. Number 5 is Guy. Guy is like the character that's like 100% physical. He doesn't use magic. He just hits hard. And the unfortunate thing is that there's another character who's more of a temporary character named Decker, who's like Guy squared. So if it came to it, which one would you rather have? You'd rather have Decker in your party than Guy, right?
Yeah, guy.
You know, because he's everything that Guy is, but better at it. Number 4 is Decker. He's the better version of Guy. Makes perfect sense. He does leave the party. He's a part of the ending, but he's not like in the group. Oh my God, that's right. You don't even have your hammer. Maybe you could just like throw it against the wall a couple of times and it'll open, or step on it. You know, because like if you could like step on the bottle and break it, and then you can get like all the gummies into like a plastic bag or something. So number 3 is Selen. Selen's the character that Maxim marries. She's like the main magic user. The only weird thing about Selen is that in dialogue they treat her like she's like a warrior and uses a sword and everything, and she's always talking about kicking ass and how great swordswoman she is, and in the actual game she uses wands and she's a spellcaster, so it's kind of a little weird.
Weird translation, maybe?
I think, well, I always thought that there was a disconnect between the people translating the story and the people doing what's called indexing, which is translating all the names of places and enemies and things like that. Definitely the B team did the indexing. The A team did the story. Number 2 is Maxim, the main character, obviously, which means that Arte is the best character, which I have to agree with. Arte is, first of all, you get him, he's an elf, so that's a plus. That's pretty cool, and he has a bow that every time he attacks, he hits all the enemies. He's had the best magic stats in the game, so yeah.
Agreed.
Arte. I would probably swap Lexus and Tia, but other than that, that's all right. Out of 7, I'll give it a 6, I guess.
I'll take your word for
There
it
you go.
and go with 6.
Yeah. Apparently, that's all this site is just some RPG, and then they rank something from that RPG.
I'm gonna
What-
defer to you on this one, John, because I haven't actually played that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I'm looking through their article. They have like like Octopath, they'll rank all the characters and then they'll do it again by personality. And I actually want to look at that. Wait, hold on. I want to look at who they think has the worst personality of all the Octopath travelers. Therian, they can go fuck themselves for that. Therian's awesome. And then Primrose is, oh my god, they have the worst taste possible.
That's just Ethereum.
They have the worst. Wow.
Cursed.
That's terrible. And then they have Alflin as having the best personality. I don't even remember Alflin.
He's that guy.
He's the apothecary. I barely remember his personality. Wow, that website kind of sucked. All right, whoever wrote that article's an asshole. All right. So then we have another RPG ranked one sent to us also by, I believe it was Manic. Another Lufia 2 one.
Oh boy.
I guess I'll have to play this one.
Oh, Lufia 2 is awesome. So Lufia 2 has a mode called the Ancient Cave where it's basically becomes a dungeon crawler where you're trying to go through a 99 level dungeon where you always start at level 1 with no equipment or magic or anything. And it basically is a game unto itself that you can play as a distraction. And so this is the 10 deadliest ancient cave encounters. In other words, these are the enemies that you run into, and you probably know the run's over. You're going to be sent back to the top. So I'm going to go through this very quickly because it's very clear to me that you guys have not played Lufia 2.
No.
So number 10 is the gold golems. They just have ridiculously high defense. They will push your shit in. Number 9 are the white dragons. Once you start seeing dragons, you know it's kind of like time to start running from the enemies and try to make it down, kill the slime at the bottom. Number 8 are the orkies. They just look like jizz under a microscope, and they will hit you approximately 10 times in a row.
That's my favorite pickle, the Polski Orki.
Number 4 are sphinxes. Sphinxes will confuse your party, and that can be really bad in a run with like limited healing stuff, you know. Number 6 are ninjas. They will always go first. They will usually attack twice. They are hard to hit. Number 5 are the silver dragons. I mean, like any dragons you really don't want to run into. Number 4 are the archfiends with the leeches. They always show up together. 2 enemies that show up together. They both have instant death spells. You're in a situation where you may not have found healing magic. Number 3 are gold dragons. Number 2 are the dark summoners. You can imagine why they would be annoying. They just keep replicating.
Especially if you're afraid of the dark.
And number 1 are just the leeches by themselves, because they're even worse when they're by themselves, I guess.
Well, that's funny that number 1 is just a leech.
Yeah,
just a leech.
Well, they're called leeches, but they're like they're liches.
Oh,
I told you. The A team translated the story. The Z team translated the enemy names.
Okay, yeah, a lich is pretty bad.
Yeah, liches are bad. They're called leeches, but they're clearly liches. Okay, weird. Out of 10, I will give that a 5 for confusing why that really needed to exist. Like what? Okay. So
what say you, Sarah?
Yeah. What do you say?
Sounds pretty neat. I think I need to play the game.
Oh, it's great. Somebody said to me on YouTube the other day that I always love your Doom playthroughs because I was uploading one, and also Lufia 2, and I said, damn, I always need an excuse to play Lufia 2 again. Yeah. So here's another one that Manic submitted from RPG Ranked. I kind of like these. I just wish that we would go for more like games that are more universally played, and this one is more universally played because this one is ranking all the jobs in Dragon Quest III.
Hey,
Sarah, have you played Dragon Quest III?
No.
Oh, damn. Dragon Quest is my favorite series. Dragon Quest III was the first RPG to have that job system where you can have characters. Your main character never changes jobs, but you can have characters that like you can pick up at the pub that have like fighter, warrior, that kind of stuff, mage.
Oh, okay.
And
I haven't played it, but I've seen you play it.
Oh, okay, yeah, a few times you probably have, and then later on in the game they can change jobs. Okay, so there's 8 jobs in the original version of Dragon Quest, and these are from worst to best. So Oh, these are using the original translation. Number 8 is the goof off, which is called the gadabout in the new translations. Yeah, pretty much this clown that does random things and doesn't listen to you and doesn't have good stats. The only reason that you would have one is if you manage to get them to level 20, they will become a sage without needing the artifact that makes you a sage.
Well, that's handy.
What I do, because whenever you change jobs, you reset to level 1 anyway, right? So what I do is towards the end of the game, I'll just teach, like one by one, make any character that I want to be a sage into a gadabout and just very quickly level them up, because you're fighting very powerful monsters. You put them in the back and have them defend, and they'll just go up to level 20 way quickly. So when everyone else is level 40, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Also, I noticed that you do level up faster when you are changing jobs. It's not like starting from level 1. It's sort of like kind of boosted. But so yeah, number 7's the merchant. There's not much use for the merchant in battle. They don't have good stats. The main thing that they do is that you get more money from enemy encounters and more item drops. But the main reason to use a merchant is because at one point you have to have a merchant that you will leave behind in the town that you're building. So I usually just at that point will have somebody leave my party temporarily, go to the pub, recruit a level 1 merchant, and then get them to the town and drop them off there.
That works.
And then they're just like, oh, I have to leave the party, but we've been on so many great adventures here. And I'm like, yeah, we went from, I went right from Australia straight to New York. And the overworld map in Dragon Quest III is based sort of like on the real world, and the town you're building is roughly where New York City would be.
Oh.
Number 6 is the soldier. The soldier is like a Final Fantasy warrior. They're just pure damage, heavy armor, that kind of thing. Number 5 is the fighter. They call them monks now, but same basic idea. They're like the martial artists. They're very good. Not much in terms of health, but their damage appears to be lower based on the stats, but they get a lot of critical hits, and they're quick. Number 4 is the wizard. They call them something else. They call them mages now, but it's pretty much just fire spells, ice spells, that kind of shit. Number 3 is the pilgrim, which are not called pilgrims anymore. Obviously, they're called clerics. They're the white mage type character. They're your healer. You need a pilgrim. So,
yeah.
Number 2 is the sage. The sage is the best class. Sage is basically a red mage. Like, you get all the spells. You get pretty decent attack stats. You can do everything. The only thing is, to become a sage, you need a special artifact called the Book of Satori. There's really only one of them, although you can manage to make enemies drop another one, or you can just do the gadabout thing and get a goof off to level 20. Sages are ridiculously good. And the number one's the hero. You can't make anybody a hero. Only the main character is a hero. But it is technically the best class because you get healing magic, you get lightning magic, and you get really good stats.
So best by default.
Yeah, I mean, you're Erdrick. I mean, what do you expect,
Yeah, the Erdrick.
Yeah, you are. Well, yeah. Well, there's been a few Erdricks, but yeah, the original Erdrick. Well, not the original Erdrick, but
the original in chronological game release.
In game release, yeah. Erdrick's actually a title. We learned.
I remember
at the end of Dragon Quest III.
Dragon Quest 11.
Three taught us, because they tell you at the end that you'll be called Erdrick and that it's a title given by the gods. 11 actually had the Yggdragon herself give you the title Erdrick.
Yeah.
First time you got to see a visual depiction of the goddess in a Dragon Quest game, so that was really cool. Out of I think that this is just going by. It's very short-sighted because it's not going by any sort of long-range strategy. Like you want the goof off at one point, because you could make sages out of it. I'm gonna give this a 6 because I think it's very in the moment, like at the beginning of the game, which ones you want.
I follow with a 6.
Yeah.
I mean, it makes sense though that the hero's number 1 just because it kind of is.
Yeah. I mean, in later Dragon Quest games, you could unlock the hero class, but you would have to go through a hell of a lot to do it.
Yeah.
What do you say, Sarah?
I'm gonna go with 5.
Okay. All right, what do we got? Another one from Manic Scarecrow. Manic's just on fire with the list critics here. So this is from a website called Den of Geek. 25 underrated Super Nintendo games. So 25 underrated games on the Super Nintendo. I've played a lot of Super Nintendo games.
As have I.
So with these, I'll just say it, and you just tell me, guys, agree or disagree.
Okay.
That they're not that they're great, but that they're underrated.
Okay.
Okay. Number 25 is Saturday Night Slam Masters. I had to agree on that one.
Oh, yeah, agree.
Nobody talks about this game, but it's awesome.
It's fun.
I don't think I've ever played that one.
It's a wrestling game made by Capcom, and it doesn't have the typical wrestling game controls like it plays like Final Fight.
Oh.
You have an attack, you have a jump, and you have a pin button, and that's all there is to it. Mike Hagar is in it, you know.
He's in it, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's a fun game. Number 24 is Ogre Battle: The March of the Black Queen. Agree. Nobody talks about Ogre Battle.
I haven't played it, so I don't know.
It's an awesome RPG.
Wait, is it one of those strategy ones?
You're thinking of Tactics Ogre.
Oh.
Ogre Battle, it has some elements of a strategy RPG, but it's a little bit more of a straightforward JRPG.
Okay.
You do have to build an army. That's what makes it the elements of that. Ogre Battle also has one of the best stories in a Super Nintendo RPG. So.
I'm not familiar with Ogre Battle.
It had some sequels. There was Tactics Ogre, there was Ogre Battle 64, and there was a couple of spin-offs on like Game Boy, but yeah, good game.
Let Us Cling Together or whatever?
That's Tactics Ogre, the second one. Oh, but by the way, all of those titles are based off of Queen songs. The March of the Black Queen was a Queen song. Ogre Battle was a Queen song. Let Us Cling Together is a Queen song.
I had no idea. That's awesome.
Yeah. Number 23 is Tetris Attack. I'm going to say agree specifically for that version of Panel de Pon.
Yeah, because many versions of that have come out.
This is Panel de Pon with a Yoshi, coat of paint on it. It later got sequels that were like Pokemon Puzzle League, and those were really, really popular. But nobody really... The weird thing for me, and I think the reason that it is underrated, is that it's called Tetris Attack, and it has nothing at all to do with Tetris.
Huh.
Yeah, they just gave it that moniker to sell. Yeah,
it's like, okay, it's a puzzle game, just call it Tetris and people will buy it.
But so, I'd agree.
Yeah,
I mean,
at
the time for a version of Panel de Pon,
number 22 is Boogerman. You know what? I'm going to agree, because even though it's not like a great game or anything, when you hear about Boogerman and you look at it, you have to assume that it sucks. And
I remember ads for it in magazines.
Yeah, it doesn't suck. It's perfectly playable. I would say that it's underrated by virtue of people thinking it's terrible when it's actually average.
I don't know. I've kind of heard that what I've heard, I played it, and it felt pretty darn average, and I heard that it was pretty average.
I don't know.
So I'm going to say no, disagree.
Okay. Number 21 is Goof Troop. I feel like Goof Troop is more appreciated now than it was back then.
Yeah.
Now, I personally am not a fan of this game.
You don't like Goof Troop, okay.
But it's just not my style.
Yeah.
But I do think it is underappreciated.
Yeah, it's a great game. Number 20. Oh my God, we have to talk about this game. Weapon Lord. I did a video. I did a video of Weapon Lord where it was basically me screaming for 6 minutes, and it became one of the most popular videos on my channel. And every once in a while, I'll go back and look at it, and I'm like, God, I was in rare form. I was really funny. Because like it just gives you, like, it's a fighting game, right? And it starts with this like ridiculously over the top epic story thing, right? Where it's like, since the beginning, man has battles, and I start like reading out the story in this really like loud screaming voice, but then the text is going really fast, so I started making up my own story. And I'm like, and then all these like fucking regular dealers came through here, and they were all like, fuck you guys, and they're like, no, we're gonna kick your ass, and we're like, no, we're gonna kick your ass, and I'm like, and I start screaming, and then I'm playing the game, and okay, so if anything, this game is overrated because it actually sucks. It's a terrible game. It plays like absolute dog shit.
And it's trying to sell you on how epic it is.
The graphics are quite good. There's no way to defend against attacks in it. And consider a fighting game where you can't block.
Ew.
You know, so you're expected to parry every hit that comes at you. You know, and
you get caught in the corner, you're done.
Yeah, I mean, it is interesting in that the developer that made it, Visual Concepts, would go on to make the original Soul Blade, and you know the Soul Calibur, and that became a whole big thing. But Weapon Lord kind of blows. I gotta disagree on that.
You gotta crawl before you can walk.
Yeah. Number 19 is Phalanx. I have to agree, because Phalanx is another pretty average game, right? It's like
it's
just
your basic shooter.
Space shooter, yeah. But I think nobody talks about the game itself. Everybody concentrates on simply the box art, which is ridiculous.
Banjo Man.
There's this old man playing a banjo, and it says Phalanx.
In space.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
Look it up.
There's an old like hillbilly dude sitting in a rocking chair playing a banjo, and like the ship from the thing is like flying by his head, and it's like just really good. And there's no hillbilly in the game. It's just like a Gradius type game.
Someone's got to program that in.
Number 8. Okay, so number 18 is Indiana Jones's Greatest Adventures. Now this isn't. Now I got to disagree. This isn't underrated. This just sucks.
I never played it because I wasn't really interested.
Like
I don't think I played that one.
It's made by the same team that made like the Star Wars games on Super Nintendo, which were all good, right?
Those are good.
But for some reason, when they made Indiana Jones, it controls pretty poorly, and you know how the Star Wars games, they get pretty tough, right? You know, and Indiana Jones it's immediately it's like that. There's no curve at all. It just immediately kicks your ass. Number 17 is Uniracers.
I remember playing that with a friend.
This game actually kind of blows.
Fucking boring.
Yeah, it's dull. There's nothing to it. I think the only way that you can say that it's underrated is because nobody ever talks about Uniracers because they sold very few copies. There was a lawsuit about the unicycle that you control being too similar to a Pixar character.
Wait,
what?
Seriously?
Yeah. That's what, yeah, and they actually had to recall a whole bunch of it, and they couldn't sell it because Pixar won their lawsuit.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
I wonder if Pixar really thought that they were going to get all these sales based on their character.
Well, no, I mean, like, I'm saying that DMA Design stole a Pixar character and made a video game out of it. You know? No credit was given to Pixar in the game.
Oh, from some short. No wonder I don't know it.
Yeah.
Alice said.
But not only is it from some short, but at that point in time, I believe Pixar was using the unicycle as their mascot.
Ooh.
So
I thought they used a lamp all the time.
Well, yeah, but this was in the 90s.
I think that came later.
This was in the night. This is like 1995, you know.
Oh man.
94 actually. I just looked at it. Yeah, you know. So number 16 is The Adventures of Batman and Robin. I gotta agree. Everybody talks about the Sega game, which is great. It's a completely different game, but the
like a run and gun.
Yeah. But the Super Nintendo game is more like a puzzle platformer. It's got really cool animation. It
looks like the show.
Yeah, it looks and feels way more like the show.
Like even the title cards and everything.
Yeah, the music and everything too. Yeah, really good game. I agree.
Yeah, I agree.
Number 15, we were just talking about Lufia 2, Rise of the Sinistrals. Now, honestly, though, like I think I do agree, even though it's like a really popular game with RPG aficionados, the common thing is like when you ask people like what are the best RPGs on the Super Nintendo, and everybody jumps to Chrono Trigger and Final Fantasy VI, and some people will say Earthbound, and some people will say Secret of Mana. Those people are wrong. But Lufia 2 doesn't enter the discussion as much as it should.
Well, do more people talk about Lufia and the Fortress of Doom?
Nobody talks about that one. And that one's really good too. It's not as good as Part 2, but nobody talks about it. Number 14 is Ys 3, Wanderers from Ys. So I feel like the reason nobody talks about Ys 3 on the Super Nintendo is because the people who want to play Ys 3 probably played it on TurboGrafx, way better version.
Is it like a more of like the how Beast is nowadays on
N-
the TurboGrafx version?
all the versions, because it was on TurboGrafx, it was on the Super Nintendo, Genesis, and even the Famicom had a version. It's sort of like Zelda 2, actually. It's side-scrolling action
Yeah, yeah.
RPG.
I remember playing the Super Nintendo version,
Yeah.
but that's the only one I've ever
No, it's the
tried.
same exact game on TurboGrafx. It's just way better music
Mm.
and just controls better too.
PD?
Yeah, it was on the CD.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, really good. The Super Nintendo version is fine. It plays just as good. It's just like the music's not great. Even the Genesis version sounds better. I don't think Falcom was good with the Super Nintendo sound chip.
Okay, I'll agree then.
Yeah.
Agree.
Number 13 is Legend of the Mystical Ninja. Nah, everybody liked this game. This was really popular. What are you talking about?
I love their
Yeah,
Goemon.
I have to say disagree. It was one of the first few games to come out in the American release of Super Nintendo, and everybody talked about it. It was a big deal. I can't agree with that.
Yeah.
Number 12 is Mega Man Soccer.
Yep.
Okay, so it's
Wow.
it's really easy to say this game sucks because the concept of it sucks.
It's a fine soccer game.
As far as soccer games go, it's fine, right? It's
Yeah, it's fine.
the big flaw that it has that people don't really talk about is that there's actually a programming error in Mega Man Soccer that you cannot see the ending.
Really?
Yeah, if you manage to beat the game,
Damn.
it just kicks you right back to the title screen. There is an ending. There's just a big programming bug that doesn't let you see it.
Well, at least there's YouTube now.
Number 11 is Jurassic Park. Oh god, that's a dull ass game though.
Is this the overhead
Yeah,
one?
yeah. I mean, it's better than the Sega game, which was more popular, ironically, but it's still not like good. It's just kind of there.
I think it's mediocre as
It's
hell.
fine. It's dull as dishwater. It's walk around, collect eggs, zap dinosaurs. It sounds fun, but it gets old fast.
Disagree.
Yeah. Number 10 is Cybernator. Yeah, nobody talks about that one. It's fun though. Good game.
Don't
Is
think I've
it?
tried that one.
It's like a side-scrolling action game where you're like a mech.
Oh, that sounds kind
Yeah,
of cool.
yeah, it's a fun
Yeah,
game.
yeah,
It's good.
yeah.
Number 9 is Metal Warriors, which is the same exact type of game as Cybernator.
Mech
It's-
shooting.
yeah, it's a little more dynamic but yeah.
All right.
Number 8 is Super Smash TV. I have to disagree. Everybody liked Super Smash TV. That was a big game.
I'd buy that for $1.
Yeah, everybody references it. I mean, maybe the arcade game might have been a little more popular, but I don't know.
Yeah.
It seemed like it was, and the Super Nintendo was the first time that you could bring a game like that home and have the controls be like the arcade.
Yeah, the up, down, left,
Yeah,
right. It
'cause
worked
'cause
better.
it's sort of like a twin stick thing. No, I disagree there. Everybody loved that. Number 7 is Blackthorn. Dude, nobody talks about Blackthorn because it's kind of ass.
I've seen it, and it's just one of those games where I'm like, I never want to play this.
Yeah,
I don't even care.
Yeah.
I know of it, but I never played it.
The only reason that anybody talks about Blackthorn is because it was made by Blizzard, like before they were big.
Ooh.
But if you want to play an early Blizzard game, they did make the Lost Vikings, which was
Lost
really
Viking,
good.
yeah. Yeah.
And here's another one that I can't agree with: Zombies Ate My Neighbors. Everybody played Zombies Ate My Neighbors. That was another big deal.
Yeah, I disagree with that
There's-
one. It's kind of
yeah.
popular amongst gamers anyway.
Yeah, like why wouldn't you put the sequel Ghoul Patrol on there? It's not as good, but it's it's not as good, but nobody ever fucking talks about it, right? Number 5 is ActRaiser. I feel like ActRaiser's popular though. I feel like
It got a remake.
Yeah, the remake was fun too. I still kind of prefer the original, but I had fun going through the remake. The remake was just a little long. It kept going.
I would disagree. I think this has
yeah.
its own legacy.
Yeah, everybody likes ActRaiser. Number 4 is Shadowrun. Yeah, nobody talks about Shadowrun, and when they do, they tend to talk about the Sega version.
Every version's so different.
Yeah, that's true because PC, Sega, and Nintendo all made the same basic concept, same basic story, but different game. Shadowrun's
Interesting,
good, though.
interesting world.
Yeah, I mean it's kind of the first time we saw a cyberpunk RPG.
Cool.
Mhm.
Number 3 is The Illusion of Gaia. Gotta agree. I fucking love The Illusion of Gaia. And I think that one of the things that held it back was the story is dopier than owl shit. But to me, that is like the charm. Like, what ridiculous thing is going to happen next?
Yeah, I'd be into that.
Number two is, oh my god. Number two is The Secret of Evermore. So I recently played a little bit of this on stream, and I was like, I've heard a lot of things about this game, and most of them are bad. Let's find out. Is it underrated or is it really ass? And first stream, I was like, you know what? This isn't that bad. I'm kind of digging it, right? Second stream, I got about 10 minutes in, and I'm like, this sucks.
I did one stream of playing it, and a lot of it was just going back and forth
There's
and killing things with a big bone.
There's a point that you get to where you're just like, I've had enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've had enough.
And not like, oh, this game sucks. More like, I'm done.
Yeah.
Like, I'm playing for fun, and this isn't fun.
Number one is Harvest Moon. This became a gigantic series, but nobody ever really discusses the original Super Nintendo game.
I don't like farming simulators. I'm sorry.
Well, it's more like a farming RPG than a simulator.
Yeah, but just that whole, I don't know, crops and shit. No thanks.
Well, yeah, but you have to admit that it's a huge thing that has become like, I mean,
it's innovative.
Look at how many games rip it off, but
Totally.
it is true though that like how many people talk about like how big Harvest Moon is a series. Well, it's not even called Harvest Moon anymore. It's called Story of Seasons. There's a series called Harvest Moon. Go figure. That's unrelated.
Or Stardew Valley.
Well, Stardew Valley is a spiritual sequel to it.
Yeah.
But the thing about it is that nobody talks about that specific version, that Super Nintendo version. It was even people who were like long-time Harvest Moon fans would talk about Harvest Moon 64, not the original. So I would say
like how a lot of Star Fox fans talk about 64, but never the original.
Yeah, exactly that pretty much. All right, well, out of 25, I feel like this could have been like a top 15.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna give it a 15.
Oh.
Yeah, that's what I think it should have been.
I'm gonna give it a 20. Yeah. I thought there was a lot of underrated stuff on here.
Give it a 15.
So, why would we do the most underrated games and not do the most overrated games on the Super Nintendo? Also,
is it there?
Yeah. It was also submitted by Manic Scarecrow. So yeah, we have to do it, right? So here is from the same website, thegamer.com. Oh, there's a different website, actually. Never mind. The other one was Den of Geek. This is thegamer.com. But it's 15 this time. The 15 most overrated games on the Super Nintendo.
Well, there's your 15.
Yeah. Well, let's see if this one should be a 15.
27.
So 27. Number 15 is, oh my god, they're going there right away. The Super Mario RPG.
Whoa.
How is it overrated? It actually is good though.
I think it deserves all the showered praise.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, and here's the thing that I think nobody talks about. I've talked about this a few times, right? There's nothing amazing about the story of Super Mario RPG because it's a typical save the world from the evil guys and Mario.
Now there's evil guys that are more evil than the normal evil guy.
Yeah, and it's a typical Mario story, right? But here's the thing that nobody talks about. It is one of the best translations of any Super Nintendo game because there is a lot of humor there. It's like genuinely funny, and at no point does it ever feel like a game that was written in Japanese and then translated to English. It feels like it was written in English.
And it's like very like almost character based. Like every character is very unique.
And it was translated by a guy named Ted Woolsey. He had also translated Final Fantasy VI.
Yep.
And because of that, and because he also translated Chrono Trigger, people tend to kind of rag on him because he kind of butchered Final Fantasy VI and Chrono Trigger. But I always tell people that wasn't his fault. He was working within very specific restrictions because when he first translated Final Fantasy VI, he brought it to Square and they looked at the translation that he had done and they said, this is wonderful, this is brilliant, this is genius, you're 300% over ROM size. Because English text takes up a lot more space than Japanese text does. So he had to squish and truncate and edit and prune Final Fantasy VI down to something that was, it's amazing that he got it to be coherent at all. And
he had to abide by Nintendo of America's guidelines.
Well, I mean, that was Squaresoft he was working with there, but yeah, so like all that stuff that, like it's amazing that he made a coherent game. And the same thing could be said for Chrono Trigger. Then you look at Super Mario RPG. This time he's working directly for Nintendo, and they just seem to just let him do whatever the fuck he wanted because he there's nothing in it that feels like it was truncated or clipped in any way. Now, disagree on this one.
Yep.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, number 14 is Earthworm Jim. Hard agree. I can't understand why people like this game.
Nah.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's all right, but it ain't as good as they say.
It was overhyped.
It's so overhyped. It's average at best. Number 13 is Donkey Kong Country. Like, okay, so yeah, it's easy to say because you get dazzled by the graphics and everything, and I could sit there and I can say that they're wrong because Donkey Kong Country is a really good game. But then Donkey Kong Country 2 came out, and this was like, well, here's what it's like, but better.
Yeah,
so
2 is light years beyond.
Yeah, so I could say I kind of sort of agree there.
Maybe after the fact, yeah.
Well, this is all after the fact.
Yeah.
Number 12 is Super Castlevania 4. You really feel that Super Castlevania 4 is overrated? If I had to sit and say that there was any flaw in the game, it's that it does slow down a lot when it uses the Mode 7 stuff. But I don't know. It's like a really good game though.
Yeah, very inventive levels. It all feels very like each level is its own thing.
And considering that it is a remake of the first Castlevania, it's quite daring in having those levels be so wacky.
Oh yeah.
So I knew this had to happen, right? When we're doing an overrated list and an underrated list, you knew there had to be a game that was on both, right?
Oh.
So number 11 is Zombies Ate My Neighbors. So I disagreed with it being underrated. Is it overrated?
I don't think so. I think it's rated.
I think it's appropriately rated.
I think it's beloved.
Because even the people that love it will tell you that, you know, it's really, really fucking hard. And you're never going to get through the whole game.
Mm-hmm.
It's a game you play until the game decides you're not playing it anymore.
Yep, yeah, that's what I do.
Yeah. Number 10 is Super Mario Kart. Gotta low-key agree on this one.
Oh, God.
My issue with Super Mario Kart, as cool as it looks, is it runs at like 10 frames a second. It's kind of rough for a racing game to have a frame rate like
I know
that.
Everybody jerks off Mario Kart 64 so much, but I really don't like 64.
Oh, I like 64 a lot, but
I know, everybody does.
The original is like, my issue is that it just doesn't run that well.
Like it.
And Alice brings up another point. Even the single player is in split screen.
Yeah. Okay, that's a bummer. Yeah, you're right.
It probably would have ran better if it was in full screen. Number 9 is Earthbound. Yeah, it's way overrated.
Yes.
It's
fine.
It's an average game. It's average.
It ain't as great as they say. Sorry, people.
Yeah. It's average. There's nothing that does that's special. And I'm playing a game right now on Thursday nights called GOD, which stands for Growth or Devolution. And the first it's God. The first few minutes of it are pretty much like a big jerk off to Earthbound. Like, you're playing as this little boy in the red cap, and you have to figure out what your mom's nickname is and travel to your grandma's house in Hokkaido. And then the aliens come. It's just like Earthbound, right?
Like the meteor, yeah.
Except the aliens blow up all the cities and there's an apocalypse, and then it skips forward 10 years.
Holy shit.
And this game, it's like what Earthbound should have been.
Wow.
Because first of all, it doesn't only take place in America. You start in Japan, and now I'm in Europe now. But you know, it's the whole world, you know. It's really cool, and the story is amazing. Like, I'm really shocked at how this game goes for the jugular. Because not only did we see on stream a few weeks ago one of the main characters get killed off, right? But she was pregnant.
Oh, dude!
How often can you say that a game is that daring?
Dude,
not often. No.
Yeah,
that's a pretty hot button issue.
I mean, she was killed by the aliens. She was pregnant. It's wild, and you weren't there for it. That's like the big thing.
Oh, killed off screen.
Yeah, well, because she was discovered that she was pregnant. And I said, you know, it's not often that a main character, that a playable character gets pregnant in a JRPG. I guess Dragon Quest V did it, but I've never seen a pregnant woman die in a video game like that, like in an RPG like that. It's wild, but it's such a
Lo
good
and
game.
behold.
But I'm like, wow, this is like clearly they were like, let's start with what Earthbound started and then go ham. All right, number 8 is Demon's Crest. I think the people who say that Demon's Crest is overrated just suck at video games and couldn't beat it.
Yeah, the game is cool.
It's a really good game. Yes, it's balls hard, but you pretty much have unlimited tries, so get good.
Get good. It's fun.
Yeah.
The controls are fun.
Yeah. Number 7 is Secret of Mana. Yeah, hard agree.
Oh boy, here we go.
Yeah.
Secret of Mana kind of sucks. Like
Well,
I can't even say it's average. It kind of sucks.
I don't think I'm on the average team. It's all right. It's fine.
There's no story.
I enjoy the music. I enjoy the
Oh,
visuals.
okay. The music
When
and the
I go back
visuals
to
are
play it,
beyond reproach.
the gameplay didn't hold up in my memory. I remember
It is
it
so
as-
obviously 1/3 of a game
yeah.
because they were going to release it on the Nintendo PlayStation. The CD add-on that got canceled. That Secret of Mana was going to be a launch title.
Cool.
And even like going back to like the first game in the series, the Game Boy 8-bit Final Fantasy Adventure, it's got a better story. It's got bigger stakes. It's got a more adult storyline. And you got a Secret of Mana, and it's like, what the hell happened? Why is the last boss a plushie? I'm sorry, but not sorry.
I think it's just all right.
Number 6 is the Seventh Saga. How could we say that the Seventh Saga is overrated when all you hear is people bitching about it?
It's really hard.
It is insanely hard. Do what I do. Play the Japanese version. It's not that fucking hard.
Oh, what did they change? Or
There-
yeah, for
there
the
was
American.
there was a programming error that made it so that your level ups were less than they should have been, and that's why the rival characters always outstrip you.
God dang.
Yeah.
Oh.
But I played the Japanese version, and it was really cool. It's a fun game. I don't ever hear anybody saying that it's like amazing though. It's usually people just complaining about how hard it is.
But as a game itself, you think it's like,
Good. It's good. I liked it. Yeah.
Okay.
I like the sequel better. It's called Mystic Arc. Really good.
Oh, yeah,
Really
I know,
good.
I know, sort of that one.
Yeah, it didn't come out in this country, but I played it. Number 5 is Mortal Kombat, and I gotta say I can't see how Mortal Kombat was overrated when it was a disaster.
And
It
the
was
sweat.
a disaster. I mean, and no, fuck all that, right? Who cares, right? The game played nothing like the arcade version. It was slow. It was clunky. Yes, the graphics are better than the Sega version. Yes, the music is better than the Sega version. Sega version actually plays like the arcade game. It's a little fast.
That's what you want.
Yeah, you want the gameplay wise, kind of a mess. Yeah, you want Mortal Kombat 2. If you want to play Super Nintendo Mortal Kombat.
All right then.
Number 4 is Kirby's Dream Land 3. 2 words. Fuck you.
Yeah, overrated?
It's on
More like
it's-
undersold.
It's way underrated because everybody jerks off to Kirby Superstar or whatever the hell it's called, right?
Saga.
Superstar Saga. Yeah. Is it Superstar Saga?
I think it is.
I think it's Superstar and Saga is the remake on like Game Boy.
I thought that was Saga Deluxe.
I don't know. But
Whatever.
Everybody jerks off to the other game. Kirby's Dream Land 3 was way under the radar.
Like it also had like a unique look to it as well.
Yeah. It's true. Moogle has like an irrational hatred of Flammy from Secret of Mana. Number 3. Wow, really? Number 3 is Pilot Wings, dude. The only people who say Pilot Wings is overrated never actually played it. It's really fun.
Yeah, it kind of just felt like a tech demo to me.
It is a tech demo, but it's fun.
I was not into it.
It's really, really fun. Ooh, okay, this is an interesting one to talk about. Number 2 is Mega Man X3. I have to agree with this one.
Overrated though?
You really want to play the PlayStation version?
Oh yeah, well it's got some fun like intro cutscenes.
It's like everybody talks about the 3 Mega Man X games as almost like they're a holy trilogy, right? And yeah, the first one's awesome. Second one, even better. The third one, there's some growing pains there.
I think it's a little overloaded.
It's way too hard. It's the story's kind of all over the map. It's still way too hard, and the sound is really bad.
The sound.
Oh my god, the high pitched music and the oh my god, it's awful. It's got like no bass to it. That's why I say play the PlayStation version. Way better sound.
No, you want Mega Man 7 for bass. Heyo.
Number one is Star Fox.
Ooh, it's
Okay.
not overrated.
Okay, so
No, I don't know, man.
I have to say that it is overrated, and I'll tell you why.
Oh,
When Star Fox came out, I loved it. I was blown away. I had to have it, bought it, loved it, every second of it. Right. Going back to it now, it's rough. It's rough. We were dazzled.
I
We
still
were
play it and love it.
we were dazzled by the 3D graphics, and we didn't say why is this run at 7 frames per second. I'm not making that up. The game runs
I know.
at 7
Seven,
frames per second.
I mean, that does
There
sound
are
like-
some rough spots. Oh,
It's-
sorry, Sarah.
Yeah. It's rough. And that's kind of, And then, you could play like one of those Star Wars games where it has like almost the same exact gameplay in certain levels, and it doesn't do that, It's all right, like, Empire Strikes Back has had a solid 20 frames per second. How come Star Fox couldn't do that?
Well, I really like it.
I like it too, but it's overrated. We loved it, but it's hard to go back to after playing some other Star Fox games,
But the thing is, everybody jerks off Star Fox 64, rightfully so.
I mean, it is a great
but
game.
they leave Star Fox in the dust, and that just because 64 is an improvement doesn't mean the first one is necessarily
Well, let me
not that great.
let me bring up a point. Don't you think that it's a problem when the second game is a remake of the first one? Like,
Yeah.
They're kind of like, well, let's get it right this time.
I thought they got it right the first time.
Wow. Yeah. Out of 15, some of these justifications are pretty bad. Like, there's a lot on here that I agree with, and there's a lot on here that I really don't agree with. 7. That's what I'm gonna go with.
8. Next.
I'll go 7.
Star Fox
Okay.
soured me.
So normally we would be stopping now. Normally we would have stopped 15 minutes ago, but
Oh shit.
since there's no cartoon club, we don't have to. But I want to do one more list. There's a few more things on here, but I want to do one more list. Actually, I want to do 2 more lists. I'm going to skip over Bort's. Bort gave us every Street Fighter character that we did last time,
Ooh.
and they gave us every Mortal Kombat character, which is really, really interesting, but we don't have time for that. I do want to end at a reasonable hour. So we'll do that next time, Bort. But EB and Riddle both gave lists that they made that I want to include at the end here.
Hey.
So EB wrote the 10 best games that were made by a single person.
Oh wow.
And isn't it always like really, really impressive when you play a video game that's really good and then you find out it's the product of one person?
Yeah.
It's just incredible that they're
Yeah.
that multi-talented.
It blows me away every time that it happens. So yes, I'll do your Bernie Mac list next time, Atlas. There's a list that the 4 best N64 games about giving Bernie Mac a haircut.
What?
Yeah. We'll have to do that next time.
Oh my god.
But okay, so EB's 10 best games made by one person. Number 10 is the original version of Minecraft. Obviously, there's a very big team that works on Minecraft now, but the original build was written by, well, there's a name here that's crossed out, and EB wrote Hatsune
We know
Miku.
why.
So, yeah, Hatsune Miku made
Yeah,
this
thank you, Miku.
really cool mining and crafting game that became
Sure.
the top-selling game of all time. So number 9, I recently played through this game by Joachim Sandberg called Iconoclasts.
Ooh.
And I was really impressed with Iconoclast. Like, it's sort of like a Metroidvania that plays like if Drilldozer and Wario Land 4 had a baby and then raised it lovingly.
Dude.
It's
That was
really
one
good.
person.
One
Wow.
person made Iconoclast. And you know what's wild, though? This thing that shocked me the most was the story, because I didn't expect there to be much of a story, but God, it goes some places. Like it's got, like themes of like, religious oppression and cults and stuff. And I was like, I wasn't expecting this. I was
But you'll
expecting
digest it.
goofy games where I hit things with a wrench, Number 8, a game by Mike Biffle called Thomas Was Alone. I can't say I've played this one.
Oh, you play as it like a Tetris piece.
Really? Okay.
And you just try to get through like level, like you have to, depending on your shape.
Oh, okay.
You gotta like manipulate your. It's pretty fun.
Okay. Number 7 is a game by Daisuke Amaya called Cave Story.
Pixel.
Now, I played through the majority of Cave Story. Couldn't manage to get through the ending part, but my big thing was that the controls weren't great. But when you consider it's an older game, and this guy basically invented the concept of the indie Metroidvania. Because back in the day, if you wanted to play that game in that style, you had to wait for the next Castlevania or the next Metroid game. Now it seems like there's an indie Metroidvania that comes out like every day, and a lot of them are really, really good, and it all started with Cave Story.
This is the first game I remember playing that I knew only one person actually made it. And I was like, They did all this,
it's
everything.
Hell, yeah, like I said, even though I do criticize the controls, it's impressive as hell. Number 6 is a game by Jasper Byrne called Lone Survivor. I'm not familiar with this one.
I don't know.
Yeah, don't know that one.
I don't know.
Sorry, buddy.
Yeah. Number 5, a game by Lucas Pope called Papers, Please.
I played through this entire game.
I know, Jay. Yeah, you were a big fan of Papers, Please, weren't you?
Yeah, like who knew that like monotonous paperwork could be so fun and interesting?
Well, yeah, it's all about the visual storytelling and the way that things escalate, and
Yeah, each day it just escalates that little bit more.
EB says Lone Survivor is like a Silent Hill game, but in 2D. It's famous for being seemingly impossible to Let's Play. I wonder why.
Huh.
Number 4, a game from Thomas Happ called Axiom Verge.
Oh, shit.
Oh, yeah.
So, this game fired on every cylinder except for one. The one thing about it that it was bullshit was the story. The story is just a bunch of gibberish, but I didn't really care because it's like a Metroid game, It really plays like a Metroid game, and god damn, the soundtrack slaps.
It is pretty good. There's a lot of good bumping tunes.
And I recently played through Axiom Verge 2, also made by just Thomas Happ. We'll have to say the original is better. They're very different games. They're both very good. I do prefer the original, but they're both very good. But yes, Axiom Verge, wow, what a game.
I really like the aesthetics too, just what the world looks like.
Number 3, a game by Brian Clark called The Mortuary Assistant.
Ooh, boy.
Ooh, spooky. I've never played it, but
sounds.
I don't think I played that one either.
Yeah.
Number 2, a game by, you might have heard of this guy. Some asshole named Toby Fox made a game called Undertale.
Nope, never heard of it.
Yeah. Who the hell is he? I mean, Undertale it was kind of 2 people that worked on it, but he did most of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, Temmie helped with a little bit of the art.
Boy.
But holy, I'm Temmie. Yeah, like I would say like 98% of that is him, so I would say that counts. Yeah, Undertale's really great. It is impressive that he made it all by himself. I'm glad.
What a narrative.
I'm glad he has a team now, so that he doesn't take 10 years to make each chapter of Deltarune. Especially considering that he seems to work for Nintendo now.
Wait, really?
Oh, for real?
Have you? He's done the soundtracks for the last 2 Pokemon generations.
For real?
Well, okay,
I don't know.
Like he only had one.
Oh.
Well, he only had one song in Pokemon Generation 8, but Pokemon Gen 9, the Scarlet and Violet, that's all his music.
Oh, wow, I had no idea.
Yeah, he did like almost all of the
He made
soundtrack.
At least the music wasn't janky.
Well, hey, look, I mean, that Hey,
now.
do you know why Scarlet and Violet are so jank? It's a really dumb reason.
Why?
You know what a skybox is, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So apparently the skybox in the Paldea region for Scarlet and Violet is about 1,000 times bigger than the world.
Oh, wait, why?
Why?
Nobody knows why, but That's why the game runs like that, because it's basically rendering a planet for a game that takes place in, Portugal. So, number one, a game by Eric Barone called Stardew Valley.
Oh, damn.
So how about the fact that not only is Stardew Valley this huge sensation, this huge game, but it is continually updated to this day. They are still adding new content, and it is 100% done by one guy.
Dang, dude.
I know it's Spain, Riddle, but Portugal's small, so I mean it's not the size. Yeah. It's closer to the size of Portugal than it is to the size of Spain.
Not the size, it's how you use it.
No, it's not the meat, it's the motion. Out of 10, I have to say 10, and I'll tell you why. Even though there's a few of these I'm unfamiliar with, there's nothing that I can think of that should have been on here.
Yeah, just the fact that one person made any game at all, full stop.
And that they're good.
The guy that made Don't Shit Your Pants, genius.
Well, what's funny is first of all, there was more than one person that made Don't Shit Your Pants, which is bizarre.
Wait, really?
Yeah. And that is the same people who made a game you might have heard of called Rogue Legacy.
Oh my god. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. And I played through Rogue Legacy and Rogue Legacy 2 recently, and they're both really good. Rogue Legacy 2 is way better, but they're both really good games. And there are rooms that can appear that have portraits of the games that they worked on before they were famous, and you can find Don't Shit Your Pants in there. Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah. All right, and the last list that we're going to do is from Riddle. It is 15 Mortal Kombat crossover character suggestions in no particular order.
So, fun.
Yeah, guest characters in Mortal Kombat are interesting. We first saw it they did a whole crossover with DC, Mortal Kombat versus DC Universe. Yeah. Mortal Kombat 9 added Freddy Krueger as the final DLC character. Mortal Kombat X had a few of them. They had Jason Voorhees and the Alien and the Predator and Leatherface. And then Mortal Kombat 11 had, what do we have? We had Terminator and RoboCop and Joker. And probably some others. Rambo was in it as well.
Yeah, Rambo.
So they've already confirmed the first pack of DLC for the new game, which is called Mortal Kombat 1. Oh, so yeah, Spawn was in Mortal Kombat 11 as well.
Oh, shit.
And it turns out that the person who leaked out the DLC pack was 100% correct. And it's got some Mortal Kombat characters in it, but it also has Omni-Man and Homelander and Peacemaker. Which I think those are all really good choices. And then the leaker announced today what the second round of DLC is going to include. And we don't know if it's true, but he was 100% correct about the first round. So apparently we're going to be getting... Hold on, I posted about it today. Let me bring it up. Just search for combat with a K and it'll come right up.
Right.
But I think I remember Harley Quinn was one of them. Maybe I just typed it as MK1. Here it is, yes. Harley Quinn, Deathstroke, and the Doomslayer are supposedly going to be added in the second season. Yeah. No Isabel, though. But as well as a few Mortal Kombat characters and cameos and such. But anyway, this is 15 characters that Riddle would like to see in Mortal Kombat. No particular order, so I'll start at number 1. Akuma from Street Fighter, God, that would be awesome, wouldn't it?
At that point, just do Mortal Kombat versus Street Fighter. We always wanted it.
We always wanted it. You know who else always wanted it?
Ed Boon.
You know who doesn't want it? Capcom.
Why?
Because they don't want a game where you rip Chun-Li's head off.
Oh, they want what? They want to keep everything innocent?
Well, Street Fighter is not a very violent and gory series,
No, but I don't know.
It's more of a goofy, Mortal Kombat's goofy as well, but in a different way. It's a different vibe. If any character was going to cross over, Akuma makes the most sense.
Yeah.
He's violent.
Never gonna
or
happen.
Evil Ryu.
Yeah. Number 2 is the Master Chief. They actually tried to get the Master Chief in Mortal Kombat 9. I forgot about this. I forgot that in the PlayStation version of Mortal Kombat 9, Kratos was in it.
Oh.
And the Xbox fans did not get an exclusive character.
Was Bungie like, no?
Yeah, they asked for Master Chief, and Microsoft shut that down for the same reason. They did, because There's a lot of reasons why they wouldn't let. They also asked for Marcus Phoenix, and they said no to that too. And I was like, honestly, you could have asked for a Killer Instinct character. They would have probably said yes to that.
Ooh, yeah.
I mean, Fulgore would have fit right in with all those other robots, right?
That would have been dope.
Yeah, so I don't think we'll ever see Master Chief, but that would be fucking cool. Number 3 is Solid Snake. God, that would be.
He's smashing it up.
Yeah, he's in Smash. Which is funny, because Master Chief was in that. What was in that? Is he? I think he's in that Brawlhalla game, right? And Akuma was in Tekken. And then Solid Snake's in Smash Brothers. So all these characters have been in fighting games. Yeah, Solid Snake would be cool, right? Why not?
Oh, why not?
I mean, you put Rambo and all that in. Why not? Number 4, Alucard from Castlevania.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't see that happening, but that would be fucking cool.
I think
which version of him?
Probably Symphony of the Night version, right?
Okay.
It's the most iconic version of Alucard. Yeah, Alucard would be cool. I mean, there are kind of like vampires in Mortal Kombat, and one of the characters that's leaked for the Season 2 DLC is Serena, who's a vampire. So
Get the version from Kid Dracula. That'd be dope.
Number 5 is Deadpool. That will never ever happen. It would be awesome. But
Yeah.
by the way, Alucard was in that Castlevania fighting game, and Deadpool was in Marvel vs. Capcom 3.
Yeah, that's right.
But I'll tell you why it wouldn't happen. Warner Brothers and Disney. Oil and water will not happen. Number 6 is The Mandalorian from Star Wars.
That'd be cool.
Disney?
I could see that happen.
That would be cool.
It is, yeah. Once again, though, it's a Disney thing. It won't happen, but it would be cool.
It won't happen, but it could be cool.
Number 7 is Ryu Hayabusa from Ninja Gaiden. Also, he was in fucking Dead or Alive. So far, the only character the only character on this list that hasn't been in a fighting game is the Mandalorian. But I think you could say Boba Fett was in that Masters of Shit game, the PlayStation one. But no, yeah, Ryu would be cool. It'd be weird because you'd have a Ryu in Mortal Kombat.
Yeah,
probably just name him Hayabusa or something.
Well, that's what they did in Dead or Alive. Yeah.
Yeah.
Bayonetta is number 8. Another Smash character, right?
Yeah.
She's in Smash Brothers. God, can you imagine her weird fucking fatalities though?
Oh, with her hair?
Yeah, and the demon hands and all that shit. Yeah, that would be cool. Number 9 is Sweet Tooth from Twisted Metal. Now, I thought that Sweet Tooth was the character. But somebody told me that that's the name of the truck and that the character's called something else.
Like Brian or Jeff.
Yeah, Dave. I think he's Dave. And I think he was in that PlayStation All-Stars fighting game.
Oh.
Yeah. I don't care about this character.
Maybe just it's the look, the whole.
Number 10 is the Shredder.
The Shredder.
The Shredder is, well, first of all, look, if you played Mortal Kombat 6, you already knew that they tried to make Sub-Zero look like him anyway. For a while. Shredder, it's never going to happen. Like, Nickelodeon owns the character now.
Oh yeah, hook, line, and sinker.
Yeah, and not only that, but that'd be more of an Injustice thing, right?
I would think so.
Needles Kane.
Needles Kane. Yeah.
That's kind of a cool name.
But I don't know about the Shredder. Number 11, The Mask. Can you imagine the weird fucking fatalities?
Apparently, the comic book is fucked up.
Oh, the comic book is basically like if a psychotic person was a cartoon.
Oh God.
It's bizarre, and it's really super fucking hyper violent too. Like, they basically were going to make the movie like the comic until the point where they cast Jim Carrey, and then they were like, no, we got to let him be Jim Carrey.
Yeah, it goes silly.
Yeah. Number 12 is John Wick. I would be surprised if they didn't do this for some point in Mortal Kombat 1.
I think that'd be cool.
Ooh,
Scud for Mortal Kombat, yes, please.
He's good at doing shit.
Yeah. Number 13 is the Dragonborn. Ooh. There's a bit of a legal issue there, but
Yeah.
if you want the character to never be on a PlayStation. The Dragonborn, the thing is, like, because everybody's character is different,
Right.
How do you really represent the Dragonborn in Mortal Kombat? Like, is he
Make
just going to
it
be the
very
guy?
vanilla.
Like, yeah, is it going to be like the guy from the trailer with the iron helmet? You know,
Yeah.
it would be import your Skyrim save. Yeah,
Can you imagine?
we're releasing Skyrim for Mortal Kombat 1.
They might as well release it again.
Yeah, it's going to run in Mortal Kombat 1. Number 14 is the Chosen Undead from Dark Souls. Okay, once again, the character would be really generic, but I think that's much cooler idea than the Dragonborn. The Chosen Undead would be really cool. And the last one, Mortal Kombat 1 featuring Dante from Devil May Cry. I want Dante to be in Smash Brothers.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
All
Dante
his slashy moves.
There were the goofy version of Dante, the remake version of him was in that PlayStation All Stars too. Yeah, I'm actually playing through the Devil May Cry series now. I'm up to part 4, and yeah, I'm fucking enjoying the shit out of it. But yeah, that. You know what I think though? I think Dante would work better in Injustice. Because as much as you get these warnings for violence and everything every time you boot up a Devil May Cry game, they're really not that fucking gory.
Yeah, it is. It's just really hack and slash.
Yeah,
like they really hone in on just that.
And you know how protective Capcom is of their characters. You know, I mean, unless it's Pac-Man, then they don't care. Well, I'm sorry, that's Namco. Unless it's not Pac-Man.
Bandai Namco.
Yeah, no. You know what it is because Pac-Man was in Street Fighter Cross Tekken. I was thinking of Mega Man. They're not protective of Mega Man at all. Remember Fat Mega Man in Street Fighter Cross Tekken?
Bad box art.
What were they doing? Who wanted that?
I don't know.
Who wanted that? That's bullshit. But okay, so these are, I mean, okay, there are a lot of these that would just never happen, right? But I have to rank this based on how cool it would be if they did.
Yeah, it's a fantasy team.
Yeah, and out of 15, I would say I'm going to give this a 13.
You read my mind. I was going 13.
And so did Alice. What about you, Sarah?
I'm going to go 13.
Yeah. I mean the two that I really don't want on there is well, Sweet Tooth, I don't give a shit. Needles Cane, whatever you want to call them. And honestly, like I think the Dragonborn's not a great idea.
Nah.
It would be fun, but then after that, it's like,
how would they pull it off?
I don't feel like that's sort of like, what was that game where there's like this Smash Brothers ripoff that was kind of like super popular for a little while last year, and I think they put like the Monster Hunter in it.
Oh, I don't know.
I'm just like, what? Yeah, it was a weird thing because it was like, here's SpongeBob and Reptar from the Rugrats, and you know, like all these.
Oh, Shaggy from Scooby Doo.
Yeah, Shaggy from, and then.
What was that?
And then a Game of Thrones character is in there randomly.
Oh, weird.
Like Arya Stark versus SpongeBob.
Kitchen Sink, the video game.
Pretty much.
I mean, they're trying to be Smash Brothers. The thing is, like, Smash Brothers is like video games, the video game. Multiverses, that's what it's called. Yeah, I've always wanted to see. I've always wanted to see Arya Stark kill Bugs Bunny. Like, what are you talking about? Come on now, Warner Brothers. What's going on over there? But yeah. Okay, so if you don't have a Skyrim save, steal it from one of your white friends. EB out there stealing my jokes.
Hey.
So I had a joke about, like, if you don't have Photoshop, steal it from one of your white friends. But that was a fun list, though. We do have a few we didn't get to. We didn't get to Bort's every Mortal Kombat character. We'll do that next time. But thank you for coming by, Sarah. It was fun to have you on.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
We'll have to figure out who comes on next time. If there's anybody out there who hasn't been a guest host on List Critics Remastered and wants to be, hit me up and we'll figure it out. That being said, we're going to go ahead and we're going to go. Alice wants September. Okay, but we're talking about August here. We're going to go ahead and do a raid.
Yeah.
So give me a minute to get Twitch up because I didn't have it up.
Birthday raid.
Let's raid that Army Gideon time. I heard he's an asshole.
Yeah.
All right, let me go over the schedule real quick. I did do this earlier, but for your guys' benefit, that might not have been at the Final Fantasy stream. Here's what's going on. We were just talking about this game, but tomorrow night I will be playing more Growth or Devolution, Heed the Call to Awaken for the Super Nintendo. Hopefully the game won't punch us in the soul again. Or maybe, actually, hopefully it will, because I was kind of ham. That's tomorrow night. Friday afternoon, what I look forward to all week, we'll be returning with more of Dragon Quest V, Hand of the Heavenly Bride for the DS. Probably going to be wrapping up the first act, the childhood portion of the game, and then moving into the teenage portion of the game. Saturday night, more of Xenosaga Episode 1 for PlayStation 2. Sunday night, more of Devil May Cry 4 for Steam. Monday afternoon, more of Guilty Gear X's for the PlayStation 2. Tuesday night, more of Monster Boy and the Cursed Kingdom for Steam. This game's awesome, by the way. And Wednesday afternoon, a week from today, we'll be playing more of Crisis Core Final Fantasy VII Reunion, which also is awesome. So, wow. Talk about games that we were just talking about. I see Ice Blue playing Axiom Verge.
Hey.
So let's head over there, right? I know what my raid call is going to be, too.
Let's go.
Oh, he's obviously playing it blind too, which is fantastic.
Oh no.
Here, this is my raid call. Damn, these beats are so fresh. Snap. G.I. Joe.
G.I. Joe.
Okay, so now my projectile damage, like my projectiles are larger.
Okay, there's your raid call. Copy it. Paste it as we end an Ice Blue stream. He is playing Axiom Verge. Looks like he's playing. It's blind. It's his first stream, so we're seeing somebody experience Axiom Verge for the first time. Pretty spectacular. I will see you guys over there. I'll see you guys tomorrow for Growth or Devolution God. I'll see you on the Discord and just whatnot. Here we fucking go. Cover the camera.
Axiom Virgin.
Just go